takes, one on the Seahawks, one on the Mariners. We'll do the Mariners at 7. We'll do the Seahawks at 7:30. So a couple of reasonably hot takes this morning. Lyle, I got to start with you, though, today. I got a text yesterday. Actually, Brock and I both did. Let me read this to you. I'll read you some of this exchange. We'll ask Brock about it a little bit later, but this came from our boss, Kathy, our boss's boss, Kathy. And she says, random question. I can explain the why later, but I need recommendations for what to watch on Netflix or any other platform that would be entertaining to guys. This is not for me. So, obviously, I started by saying Caddyshack, but then I said, all right, here's a couple that I liked. I like Paradise recently. I really like Industry on Max, but I might not be the best barometer for guy stuff. And she's, okay, well, maybe not guy stuff, but if I give my recommendations, it's not going to resonate with a guy in his 20s. As if Brock and I are like the perfect people to have like guy resonance in your 20s. I said, Brock's going to be 50 a year from today. 50. He's 50, not 25. How is Brock possibly going to be relating to a guy in his 20s? He's double the age. And so am I. I'm going to be 47 in less than 2 weeks. So I told her that maybe neither Brock nor I were the best barometer for how to reach and entertain guys in their 20s. Thankfully, we have someone on our show. And Maura, I'm sorry, you're excluded from this also.
Makes sense.
Well, I know you're still hanging on to your 20s, not in the male demographic.
Almost not a guy, yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you got the 20s part down, but not the guy part. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Lyle, you're a guy in your 20s, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a barometer for other guys in their 20s, or would you say you have a unique taste in entertainment that does not fit the rest of your decade?
It feels like a lot of pressure, but no, I feel like I'm pretty Gen Z.
All right, so over the course of the morning, maybe you could come up with 3 to 5 things on streaming platforms that would be entertaining to guys in their 20s. Do you think you could do that? I know it's a lot of pressure on you, and generally you consider that the third degree. We'll try not to put a spotlight right in your face while you're doing it or give you sodium pentothal or anything. But if you have the opportunity, maybe you could think of 3 to 5 things on streaming platforms that might be intriguing to a 20-something-year-old guy.
Okay.
All right.
I thought you were just going to say Netflix. I was like, Netflix.
No, it's not just Netflix. No, she said any streaming platform. So.
Okay.
You good with that? Do you have any off the top of your head? Does any one jump out to you right away? I know that this is not your pressurized environment that you like.
Squid Game?
Okay. Squid Game. There you go. All right. See, we've already got one.
I've heard that one is gory.
Yeah.
It is, and usually I hate that stuff, but it's such an intriguing show.
It does look good. I should probably watch that. But, I'm not in my 20s. When I was in my 30s, somebody told me that I needed to watch Workaholics in order to keep myself from being old. And I was like, okay, I can do that, and ended up loving it. But now that's probably old. You've probably never even seen Workaholics.
I have not seen Workaholics.
Funny, man. You should watch Workaholics. That, I would think, would still hold up. Anyway. All right, so Lyle will do that. If you want to help him, certainly you could text in suggestions to 866-979-3776. I know that, like, asking people what they're watching on streaming platforms generally is, like, once conversation ends, that's where you go. Like, you're hanging out with people you don't know that well, and you're like, well, we're out of stuff to talk about. Hey, what are you watching on streaming platforms these days? And it kind of goes from there. But if you have a suggestion for Lyle for guys in their 20s, maybe he could use the help to give to our boss. All right. Mariners lose yesterday, and it's funny to see. I love this. I'm not going to go back and forth, not going to rip anybody. I was amused by a couple of the texts that came in early this morning, or even maybe late yesterday. 6 hits on 12 strikeouts. Did the clock strike midnight on the Mariners? Yes. Yeah, the clock has officially struck midnight. The Mariners lost a game, and that's it. Fold it up and go home. That one obviously meant more than the previous 3, so let's forget about it. I don't know whether the clock was ever, getting close to midnight. The Mariners have had all kinds of struggles this year, more struggles than not. It's not like they've been playing great baseball for 16 games, and then the 17th was the one that kind of got them. I mean, yesterday looked a lot like a bunch of the other Mariner games this year. I mean, really, the 3 against Texas have been the exception. So struck midnight is sort of wrong in like 12 different ways. But thanks. Appreciate the text. Where's the other one I had? This is the one. Dan seriously looks lost out there. It's obvious to everyone. Everyone. I love when things are obvious to everyone, by the way. It's obvious to everyone that Luis just didn't have it tonight. He walked 4 guys. He was up around 95 pitches. What does Dan do? He leaves them in just to give up the 3-run home run. Then he takes him out. And surprise, surprise, Snyder finishes off the inning with ease. All right. So, again, like, I do agree that Dan has had a couple of moments this year that have been head scratchers, and we talked to Aaron Goldsmith about them yesterday, and you can kind of hear it from Aaron in the broadcast. I don't know whether Luis Castillo in the 5th yesterday is one of them, even though it didn't work. You're in the first game of not just a series, but a road trip. You've got your most veteran pitcher on the mound. I would say, and you know that on this trip, you're going to have to bring up Emerson Hancock for the first time in a while to make a 5th start. I don't know whether I'm going to crush the manager for trying to get his starting pitcher a little bit deeper into that game. Did it work? No. Dan will be the first to tell you. But I don't know whether it's as simple as, Luis has walked some guys, I got to get him out right now. Nor is it as simple as Colin Snyder finished out the inning with ease, so everything would have been fine. Coming in with 2 guys on is very different than coming in after the home run has been given up and the bases are clear and a lot of the pressure comes off of you. Pressure, as it turns out, might have a lot to do with sports. So, again, appreciate the thoughts. And over the course of the year, we'll be talking a bunch about kind of where Dan is at and how he's managing situations and how it's different from what we've seen before. That's one of the big storylines of this season. But I would be willing to bet, out of 30 managers, how many managers in the big leagues do you think leave him in, given everything else going on? I would bet at least 25, if not all 30. Probably try to get Castillo through that inning. That would be my guess. Again, not everything is going to work. This again isn't football. Like you call a play in football and it gets executed, this, that, and the other. In baseball, the guys have to go out and then there's a battle, and one guy's going to win, one guy's going to lose. It doesn't necessarily make the process wrong. So I don't, somebody says it was also his first game back in Cincinnati. I would be surprised if that factors into it. Like, you want to give maybe this is just old school Dan saying, hey, I give my guys 5 innings because that's when you get a win. But I don't think so. That would shock me if that was the reasoning last night. Maybe that was reasons for managers, 25, 35 years ago. But now I would be supremely surprised. And in fact, he did give a reasoning for not going to the pen in the bottom of the 5th. And I'm so gracious. I'm so nice. I'm going to play it for you as part of Need to Know next. So stick around a couple more minutes. You'll hear that and a whole lot more coming up on Brock and Salk.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day. Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Baseball's back. It's time your yard stepped up to the plate. Synthetic Turf Northwest is Seattle's go-to for pro-quality turf. Perfect for backyard batting cages, putting greens, or just a mud-free play zone for the whole family. We install the best, we supply the best. And we're local-based in Woodinville with a new Fife location coming soon next to Sportco. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com, where the grass is always greener.
welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696. And manage your diabetes as easy as...
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. G here, join me, Safeway and Albertsons, and donate your time and skills to support local food banks and host food drives or fundraisers. You can win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your favorite hunger relief agency. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more. Find volunteer opportunities and log your hours. 1 million hours will help create food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing, because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Hi, John Curley here. It's a great time to upgrade with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Take advantage of local utility rebates up to $5,000 off on heat pumps. And Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Get both heating and cooling with an ultra-efficient heat pump in one unit. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Ugly start for the road trip. The Mariners lose in Cincinnati yesterday. Luis Castillo walking, 5, let 4 come around to score, gave up 6 runs. The big blow coming from Austin Hayes.
The 1-1 pitch on the way to Hayes, swinging a fly ball into straightaway center field and deep. Julio going back to the 1. He tracked near the wall, and he can't get to it. It's over the wall in center field. A 3-run home run for Hayes. I don't know, it looked like it hit off the top of the wall or right behind the fence. We saw a little bit of a bounce, but Austin Hayes with a 3-run home run. 4 runs are in here in the bottom of the 5th. And the Reds now lead it 6-4. What a return for Austin Hayes. His first game as a Cincinnati Red.
Yeah, he was one of those guys. Been in Baltimore for quite some time and pretty decent hitter. Reds decided to pick him up this year, play a little outfield and DH. And he looked pretty good yesterday. That's for sure, with a bunch of hits and drove in those runs there. Yeah, Dan Wilson asked why not go to the bullpen there in the 5th inning.
It's a tough one there. I think, Rock comes through in a lot of those situations, and we've seen it time and time again. And, I think he was still at about 85 pitches, 87 pitches, something like that. So there was still some left in the tank. Obviously, they were able to convert there and take the lead. So it's just, just weren't able to get enough offense going later in the game to kind of get that lead back, and that was a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe asking your team to score 9 runs in a game might be a little bit unreasonable, but regardless, Dylan Moore provided most of the offense anyway. Had a couple of home runs. That was 3 of the 4 runs. 3 for 3 against the lefty Lodolo, 0 for 2 against right-handed relievers. You don't say. Mariners strike out 12 times in the 8-4 loss. But a little kudos. Ben Williamson made his major league debut yesterday and delivered right away with a hit. A run scored in his first major league trip to the plate. Pretty cool for a guy that's really here for his glove. But yeah, he was feeling the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, my arms were numb at the top step, but I got in the on-deck circle and kind of just started focusing on my breathing and locked back in. Just realized it was the same game I was playing all the way up through.
Pretty cool. All right, Bryce Miller on the hill later today against Nick Martinez.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks busy meeting with potential draft targets just 8 days before the first round. Quarterbacks Tyler Shook, Jalen Milroe both in this week, as was edge rusher Shamar Stewart from Texas, which I thought was interesting, and we'll talk more about that at 7:30. Bob Condota kind of went that direction in his mock draft, which I loved. I loved what Bob did. First round, defensive end Mikael Williams, Georgia. Second round, Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman from Ohio State. And Savon Ravel, the cornerback. Third round, tight end Terrence Ferguson from Oregon and center Jared Wilson from Georgia. I'd be happy with that. 2 guys on your offensive line, a defensive end, a cornerback, yeah, and a tight end. If those are your first 5 picks, yep, sign me up. Great job. Gets an A from me. Absolute A. I know people think that all I want is an offensive lineman in the first round. That's not true. That would be a fine first round pick, but going defensive line, defensive end in the first round would be just fine with me. And that's exactly the way Bob has it. Chad Reuter was on yesterday with Bump and Stacy. He's still all about the wide receivers, though, for the Seahawks.
I have a 7-round mock draft coming out on Friday, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is having Tedera McMillan out of Arizona going to Seattle at 18, just to give the team a little bit, sign some size, but I think a guy like that can really fit in and take over what DK Metcalf meant to the team.
Yeah, you know what would be better than size there would be size somewhere in the line of scrimmage, like either on the offensive or defensive lines. That would be a good spot for size. Not playing all the way out near the sideline. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't need more size there, at least not yet. Not in the first round. Go find that later. Like where you found DK Metcalf later in the draft. Not in the first round. No thanks.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
One more loss, unfortunately, finishes off the Kraken season. This one, 6-5 at the hands of the Kings yesterday. Scored a couple to make it close late, but it was not a very close game. The loss does mean they'll finish either 5th or 6th in the NHL draft lottery, so I guess that's your consolation. Jaden Schwartz ended up leading the team with 26 goals. He wins the Guile Field Award for perseverance, hustle, and dedication. Brandon Montour wins the fan favorite. And Joey Decord, the Pete Muldoon Award for the team MVP. Jared McCann finishes the year tops in both assists and points. 19 goals on the season for the rookie Shane Wright, 20 for Matty Benier. CEO Todd Leiweke spoke to the season ticket holders yesterday, confirmed Ron Francis will stick around for another year as GM. The team also is going to lower prices on some tickets and offering concession discounts for season ticket holders in order to make the games more affordable. That is everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right. Told you we've got some mildly spicy takes this morning. I got a Mariner take for you at 7 that I think might tip the world on its head a little bit. 7:30, we got Seahawks hot take that's not scalding hot, but we haven't said it much, so I think it's time. And then Brock's got a draft profile at 8. We got Daniel Jeremiah this morning at 8:30, and Moore is working on something very fun for us at 9 o'clock that I think is gonna entertain.
Brock's idea. It's really good.
Is it working out?
Yeah.
A rarity. A Brock idea that works. Coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, and then trash takes to finish off the show. All right. Generally, you know who said he had takes? We're talking about takes. Jeff Passan coming in hot yesterday with takes galore. Not to mention a whole bunch of information. What did he say about the idea of the Mariners adding a quote-unquote semi-premium slugger? Stick around. You'll hear it next on Brock and Salk.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. 4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Time to talk to our friend Jeff Passan of ESPN, top baseball mind in the media these days. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
Happy birthday, Brock Heward.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, 49. My last one in the 40s, and I'm feeling it. Feeling it.
You may be feeling it. You have aged exceptionally well, though. Like, you do not look even close to 50 at this point. So take pride in that.
I appreciate that. I was looking in my rearview mirror yesterday, and I think it was the way the sun was hitting. I was looking and noticing some grays.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was like, oh,
dude, I'm getting a couple too. Like, yeah. I've been the guy who, if I see one, I will yank it. But I'm getting like a couple of it was a little too many on the side to just start pulling out, and it's like, you know what? Yeah. It's bound to happen at some point. It's inevitable that we're all going to end up looking like Mike Salk. So it's fine.
Whoa. Easy there. Easy. Both of you guys do television. I'm not a television guy. I'm a radio guy for a reason. There's no reason
he's not talking about your gray hair. He's talking about your first pitch.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Okay, so I said this to Mike last night, Brock. I did not look at the comments because I wanted to come in with a completely unadulterated take, and I was kind of curious how it aligned with others. So here's it. May I, Mike? Do I have your permission to just walk through my thoughts on it?
By all means, Jeffrey, please do. I mean, I've always wanted to be critiqued by such a baseball mind.
He wrote the arm, Salk. He wrote a book about
He did write the arm. I feel like mine is safe after that throw.
Let's start here.
Okay.
It's a very cool privilege that you get to go do that, and it takes some gumption to go out there and throw a ball in front of thousands of people that could end up with you in a viral clip. So props to you for that. Now, you getting out there and insisting on going to the mound.
You got to understand. You got to understand the theory. You got to understand the history there, Jeff. So when this first went, I don't mean to cut you off, but when this first came up,
no, please.
The first thing is I talked to my dad, and he was like, "Whatever you do, don't go to the mound." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do any. I have no interest in going to the mound." And then Brock comes on. He's like, "What are you talking about? You will embarrass our show if you don't go to the top of the mound. How dare you? I won't talk to you ever again." He's bullying me. The listeners are writing in. Maura, Lyle, everybody I know is like, "You got to go to the top of the mound. You're the worst person that exists. Like, you got to go to the mound, you wuss. Why would you embarrass us? You got to go to the top of the mound." So I was like, I really don't want to, but I didn't want, I was feeling a lot of pressure to do that.
It's understandable. And here's the thing. I actually agree that the mound is the move. I feel like if you're in front of the mound, it's just like a half first pitch. If you really want to show what you've got, go to the mound. But here's my issue. If you're going to go to the mound, you have to throw the baseball, and you didn't throw the baseball. You just avoided embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
All you were doing, you were the kid who walked into class and had the ability to get an A, but you're like, nah, I'll take a C- and I'll be okay with it because at least I pass. And I don't want to go, off the side of the road, full Thelma and Louise style. Into like a ball of flames at the bottom. You didn't want to be 50 Cent. You didn't want to be Carl Lewis. You played it safe. And honestly, I think that is far more of a wuss move than throwing from 40 feet.
Jeff, thankfully,
Here's the thing, Mike.
It's as if you listened to me all last week because all those things are accurate.
Here's the thing. You're enough of an athlete where you needed to step out there, and I'm being serious when I say that. I don't imagine that you're going to be an Olympian anytime soon, but you're in shape. You're a fit guy, and the way that you threw that baseball tells me that you are capable of so much more, and you just turtled when the moment was there.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Have you done this before?
No.
You've never thrown out a first pitch?
I won't until I'm retired. I don't think
you think it's inappropriate for.
Yeah.
I understand. You're a reporter. We're in sort of different jobs. And
Exactly.
That's fine.
Exactly.
No, I understand that. I won't critique that. I think that makes perfect sense. First of all, thank you. I was truly touched that they asked me. I thought that was awesome. But the story was kind of like I asked them, like, "Hey, can I come see Saintcha pitch?" And they were like, "Oh, sure. Also, would you throw out the first pitch?" I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, that's unbelievable." And I didn't have a lot of time. I haven't thrown an actual baseball in forever. I didn't get to warm up. I didn't get to practice. So you're right. I didn't want to embarrass myself. If another team were to ask me to do this for a second time, the Rainiers, God forbid, the
Modesto
Mariners.
Nuts.
Yes, if I had to travel to
Arkansas
Modesto.
Travelers.
If I traveled to Modesto to throw out the first pitch for a Nuts game. Yes, the next time, Brock, I would, Jeff, I would do a better job of throwing. But I've never really thrown off a mound. Like I'm not a pitcher. Throwing from the top of the mound.
Are you kind of hearing a lot of excuses too, Jeff? Are you kind of hearing that?
No,
or
I'm
is
just
it
saying how
me?
I would handle it next time.
No, I'm honestly, I don't see these as excuses. I think he's making perfect logical sense. I just think when you're in that position, you got to have the confidence to go out there, and that was an unconfident man.
That's true. I was not confident at all. My kids were there. I knew that Brock was watching from afar, ready to make fun of me. I was terrified. As Tito says, the game sped up on me.
The funniest part of all of this, though, is that you did this specifically so you would avoid embarrassment, and yet you are still embarrassed.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm not really that embarrassed. I think I'm okay. The biggest thing I noticed, this was odd. I did not expect this. I guess the only mounds I'd ever really been on in my life were, as a kid. I was shocked that when you get to the top of a big league, or in this case, a single A mound, there's no hole in front of the rubber. Like, it's just flat. And I don't know. That didn't dawn on me that it would look that way. I don't think I'd ever seen or noticed that before.
Well, that's probably why they were asking you to avoid the mound.
Right, yeah.
It was, it was because pitchers they're like little puppies. They like digging their holes to fit themselves perfectly. And so, all of it in moments like that where it's already loaded with pressure, any little thing is like a landmine that can just screw everything up. And you are not expecting the dirt on the mound to be an impediment, and yet it was.
Yeah.
So as much as I am advocating for you to improve the velocity and the shape of your pitch, it also feels like you need a little bit of help in your mental game, Mike. It feels like you need to sit down with a sports psychologist.
Yes.
Yep. Maybe there was a traumatic event with dirt in your childhood that just brought back all sorts of bad memories, PTSD on the mound.
A lot of traumatic events in my childhood, as you might imagine, Jeff. All right, well then, perfect transition as you talk about sports psychologists. If there's one guy in this Mariner team, we know, because he's talked to us about it, has really been helped by sports psychology. Do you know who that is off the top of your head?
I don't actually.
Brian Wu has told us a couple times that's really, really helped him in the minor league level as he attempted to go from like 6 innings total in college to being, an unbelievable pitcher right now. And he made a comment after his last start almost about imagining it was like as he went through the game, it was like going through video game levels where they got progressively harder, and it helped him. All of this is a long way of transitioning to ask, what is the thought about Brian Wu nationally, and what is the likelihood that we're having legit all-star and eventually Cy Young conversations about him, whether it's this year, next year, or soon?
I think it starts with, in terms of the national view of him, can he stay healthy? Because if Brian Wu can stay healthy, yes, we are talking about All-Star. Yes, we are talking about Cy Young. If you go and look at what the guy's done in his career, I mean, last year, I know he threw only 120 or so innings, but it was sub-3 ERA. The command of his pitches is exceptional. I got to be honest, of the 5 Mariner starters, if you were to ask me, who would you enjoy watching the most throw a complete game? I think it would be Brian Wu, and that's no slight to the rest of the guys. I think it's either him or Logan Gilbert, but I just really enjoy watching Wu pitch. He is so methodical, and he is so efficient, and his command is so exquisite that it's just fun to watch a pitcher who has multiple pitches that he can command pick apart a lineup. And I really enjoy it because I feel like Brian Wu, it's funny you say this about sports psychology helping, because I feel like on the mound, he is so very in control of the game. Already, baseball is the one sport where the defense dictates what the game looks like, right? But I think Brian Wu is fully I haven't asked him about this, and I'm going to now going forward. I think he has fully embraced the idea that he's in control. And when you're in control, man, and you have that gift that you can put a ball on a dime anywhere on the plate, then it just turns into a game of I'm going to trick you, I'm going to fool you, I'm going to mess with your timing, and I'm going to, if this is a count that falls for a fastball, I'm going to throw you a changeup. And I think that is what has led him to this point where if we continue to get innings out of him, we're going to see him in Atlanta this summer.
10% of the way through the Major League Baseball season, the product has been
good. I don't see baseball right now as any different than at any point in the last, couple of years.
The records in the American League. I ask you that because
that's exactly where I was going. Like, the American League confounds me. I'm not sure whether I'm on the side of I love that just about every team can be a contender and can win the pennant, or I'm appalled that there are no teams that seem to be really good. Yesterday I was talking with somebody who's going to win the American League this year, and we named like 8 teams. Could it be the Yankees? Absolutely. Could it be the Blue Jays? Maybe. Could it be the Red Sox? Yeah, possibly. Could it be the Rays? Sure. Orioles? Maybe if they get a little more pitching. Tigers? Absolutely. Guardians? I would say no, but they always seem to be there. Royals? Potentially. They need a bat. Angels? I still don't think so. But they're better than I thought they were going to be. Rangers, despite what you guys saw this weekend, yeah. Mariners, yeah. Astros, sure. But are any of them capable of competing with the Dodgers? Are any of them capable of competing with the Padres? Are any of them capable of competing with the Phillies, the Mets? The National League's just a way better league at this point. And a couple days ago, I added up the records in the American League, and I think collectively they were 15 games under 500. It might be worse now. The NL is just the dominant league at this point, and that is going to make, I think, for a really interesting postseason on the AL side.
Which is such the opposite of how it was 10, 15 years ago. Remember when Jack Wilson got traded here, Brock, and we welcomed him to the major leagues from the minor leagues in Pittsburgh. It was like, now his kid's playing, of course. But
so why is that?
Because
why the
Brock's
shift?
49 years old.
Why the shift so clearly between the two leagues right now?
Well, let's look at who's spending. The New York Mets went out and spent $765 million on Juan Soto and added Clay Holmes and Frankie Montas and re-signed Pete Alonso. The Los Angeles Dodgers go out and spend more than anyone. The San Diego Padres in recent years have gone out and spent. It's just, it feels like there's been a gravitation of talent toward the National League and away from the American League. And I think that, when you're talking about 15 teams on each side, the spectrum of talent coming up from the minor leagues is going to be spread out pretty often. So then it's more about how does big league talent move, and a lot of big league talent has gone to the National League side.
Helps too that they've added the DH, I think, because before that it was hard for them to compete. I always felt they were at a disadvantage against the American League teams, and now I think they have enough hitters on their teams.
That is actually a really interesting premise that I had not considered, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, let's totally redeem yourself.
Let's talk about. Thank you. I try. Let's think about.
You still can't throw, but aside from that, I mean, your brain's working at least.
This is just wrong.
You totally redeemed yourself.
Just frankly rude. Let's talk about one of those DHs that's out there. JD Martinez. His name popped up a little bit last week. Greg Amsinger, I think, brought it up as a potential fit for the Mariners. What do you think JD Martinez has left? Where do you think he'll end up, and what does it cost? Could it be with the Mariners? I guess there's 4 questions in one for you.
What is it going to cost at this point? Not a whole lot. What does he have left? I mean, 2 years ago he was awesome. Last year, he was like a league average hitter. The issue with JD Martinez is that he is just a DH only, and you know that you're not going to be getting any help on the defensive side potentially. And when you have only 26 roster spots and you're an organization like the Mariners that, you've already got a guy in Mitch Garver who's mostly resigned to DH at this point. You've got Jorge Polanco, who's not able to play in the field, or I don't know if he did yesterday, but hasn't been recently. And you've got Luke Raley, who's going to take some DH at bats. You've got Donovan Solano, whose gloves not like. You got a lot of DH candidates already, and a lot of DH at bats on that team. And it's just a question of, is the difference that JD Martinez would potentially make with the Mariners substantive enough to take away those DH at bats from everyone else? When you DH a Shohei Ohtani, it's like, yeah, of course. When your DH is Brent Rooker, or at least, the last couple of seasons, it's like, yeah, okay, well, that makes sense to put him there. But I don't know. I don't know that the fit for the Mariners is all that great right now.
Here's the only reason I ask and bring it up. I think every point you just made is 100% true. The one thing he did well last year is sort of an old school stat, but he drove in runs. He's a guy who drives in runs. He's an RBI guy. And what's been the biggest problem with this Mariner lineup, not just this year, but the last few years? Just finding ways to drive in runners in scoring position. And say what you want about JD Martinez. He's not perfect, but he drove in 70 runs in 120 games last year. Like, that sure feels like the type of thing that this lineup is, like the one biggest thing that they're missing.
And he couldn't play first base?
He hasn't played first base. And transitioning a guy who hasn't played somewhere to that job on the fly, not the easiest thing to do. I guess he could try, but if you're the Mariners, are you doing a wing and a prayer on a guy defensively at first base? And hope
why not? You're doing a wing and a prayer to a guy at third base and Jorge Polanco, and he's not actually playing there. You're doing wing and a prayer. You got doing a lot of defensive wings and prayers for this team.
You got a
now.
You got a 5'6" first baseman at times, and Solano, I think the shortest in the history of the sport. So a wing and a prayer. Hey, here's another.
So here's the thing: has Solano played first base?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. He has been there in the past. Has Jorge Polanco played infield? Yes, he's been there in the past. And I know third base is a different position than second base, but he has played third base in his past with the Twins as well. Has JD Martinez ever been anything but a DH or an outfielder? No. Gotcha. Being on the dirt's a little different, man. Yep. Like the scooping low throws,
he was on that dirt,
is
man.
a skill.
Yes.
No question receiving pickoffs is a skill. So I think that sort of skill isn't quite as easy to pick up. But if there is any position that a guy's going to transition to and have it be with some semblance of ease, it would be first base.
How about another little rumbling and rumor that was going around, I believe at the end of last week, about Luis Castillo, that a major league team called on Luis Castillo because of some of their injuries to their starting arms. I think Bob Nightingale had this rumor. Did you reach out or lean into that at all? Did you find any details at all, whether or not that was a realistic possibility?
I didn't bother making a call because just logically right now it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's too early, number one, for any trades to be happening. Number two, we have no idea what George Kirby's situation is. And I think the Mariners' willingness to move any starting pitcher is going to depend almost entirely on whether they can get Kirby back, get Kirby healthy, and get Kirby being Kirby. If they can, then it makes a little more sense. Without that, though, you're hamstringing yourself. You're putting yourself in a position where you haven't seen Brian Wuthrow a full season, and that leaves you with Logan Gilbert and Bryce Miller and a big old shrug emoji with Kirby. I just don't think at this point that's particularly logical. And beyond that, most trades are not going to happen unless you get exceptional value for them until at least June. And, the two big trades I can remember in the last couple of years happening before June. Luis Arraez going to the Padres last year, And while we're looking at the return right now for the Marlins and it's not looking great, they felt like they got really good value on it. And in late May, a couple of years ago, Aroldis Chapman going to the Texas Rangers for Cole Reagans, who might be a top 5 pitcher in baseball right now.
How much do you know about Randy Arozarena?
Bit context.
I don't know. He's just a fascinating person. He's fascinating to watch. He doesn't speak a lot, so we don't know him all that well. By all accounts, he's quiet, except when he's playing, when he plays with a ton of flash and charisma and noise. And so just kind of wondering who he is and what you know about him.
I mean, it's very interesting when players come from Cuba to Major League Baseball, and they've been living in this authoritarian regime, but it's sort of a privileged life inside of that because the government does tend to take care of baseball players, and yet there are a number of Cuban players who I've talked with who say when you grow up in an environment where you know that you are being spied on all the time and that the government can come in and essentially do whatever it wants without recourse, it hardens you and it makes you skeptical of things, skeptical of people. And so I've never asked Randy Arozarena that question, but I know some of his countrymen have gone through life feeling that way and are very hesitant to open up accordingly. So I think let's put it this way: Randy Arozarena plays for Team Mexico, right? Whereas other guys who have been from Cuba will play for a Cuban national team, or will go back, or still have ties to there. And I think that maybe lends a little bit of insight into how he feels about the country, and if he feels that way about where he grew up and where he spent the entirety of his childhood and the formative teenage years and early into his adulthood, maybe that gives a little bit of an inkling as to why this is not a particularly demonstrative guy, aside from when he's on the field, which when ball players, some guys, they step inside of that line and turn into a completely different person.
And some step inside the lines and become a lollygager. I mean, I'll kind of just put a bow on the conversation.
There you go. Fun conversation, mostly, other than, being the butt of their jokes with Jeff Passan yesterday. And, of course, he joins us every Tuesday at 8:30. All right. Mariners lose yesterday. Look, it happens. Certainly didn't want it to happen in the first game of the road trip. And especially after you heard Aaron Goldsmith say yesterday that they really need to win that series, given kind of what's happening later in the road trip. But, hey, whatever. You bounce back, you get it done again today. But it did get me thinking yesterday. What if for the last year, 2, maybe 3, we've been looking at this Mariner team entirely wrong? It's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
Ryan Roland Smith with us. I said Emerson Hancock was going to be the dude this year, and then he gives up a 6 spot there in the first inning.
Catching some heat on social media there.
I was.
You should have just responded, just going,
Yeah, that's bracket looking. Dave, you impressed me. That's a pretty dialed in American accent right there.
It's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
you
sound like an American geek. It's still good.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Hey, it's me, the foul pole at T-Mobile Park. But it's about time they call me the fair pole because those are the moments I live for. When Cal's up to the plate, I'm always on high alert.
The big dumper with a 2-run blast.
And then there's Randy Arozarena, launching missiles into the stands, flipping his bat so high it practically reaches my eye level.
Blasted back, Randy Arozarena strikes again.
And J-Rod, heck, when he connects, he makes the whole building shake.
And it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez.
So come on down and take a seat beside me. You might even go home with a souvenir. Mariners baseball, Tridents up.
The Mariners are back in town starting April 25th, and you won't want to miss 2 great giveaways. City Connect Captain's Hat Friday the 25th and Moose Shoulder Plush Night Saturday the 26th. Plus, score value game seats as low as $10 April 29th and 30th. Go to mariners.com to get your tickets and check out everything on deck.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results. Evan Cohen here. When the draft clock is ticking, you've got to pick the best talent, regardless of position, to fit your team's needs. Well, if you're hiring for your business, you want to find the best talent for any of your roles. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology hustles to find qualified candidates for your job immediately. And if you see a standout candidate, ZipRecruiter lets you personally invite them to apply. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, good morning, Brock. Day after your birthday. I hope it was a good one yesterday. The picture of you and Molly having lunch looked great.
Great one. Great time.
Great birthday.
Great birthday.
Awesome.
Cut it off a little early to come home and watch the Mariners.
All right, that didn't go as well.
Should not have. I should not have. We should have just kept the birthday party going. But that's okay. That's all right. It's like it's my birthday. You know what I want to do? I want to go home and go to the basement. I want the Mariners are up 4-2. Let's go. Finish this baby off. Get that first win of the road trip.
Yeah.
Find a way to take 2 or 3 from the Reds. Let's go.
Yeah, and especially after we had heard yesterday, right, from Aaron Goldsmith, like, kind of want to get this one right based on what the rest of the road trip looks like. This would help.
When I look at a 3-game road trip, especially one this long, this far away from home against some really good teams, particularly coming up, like you have to find the series where if I'm Dan Wilson and I'm looking at the schedule on the whiteboard, I'm saying, hey, we got to get at least 2 out of 3 here because we have to be able to be realistic and know that we're probably not going to win both of these next 2, right? And so if we want to have at least a 500 road trip or close to it, like you got to find a way to get some wins someplace, and Cincinnati is that place.
Okay, so, looking to win that series and did have a lead twice in the game. Unfortunately, it slips away. Castillo didn't have it. Anyway, weird question. Just kind of thinking about it, watching that game, and I don't mean to overreact to 1 game or 4 games or anything, but it just kind of made me think about it. What if the Mariners aren't actually wasting an all-time rotation with an all-time bad offense? For all of the conversation that's been built around that statement, right? You've heard it everywhere, and I'm not, it's everywhere. The Mariners have an all-time rotation, and they're wasting it by not putting even a decent offense around it. That is the if you were to ask, I think, generic Mariner fan X, either in or outside of Seattle, what is the storyline of your Seattle Mariners in the last few years? That would be it, right?
Well, yes, and the great Jeff Passan has kind of banged that drum, as have many national voices. Sure. So I wouldn't just say it's kind of Mariner fan.
Totally agree.
I would say it's also a national voice kind of tree-topping it as well, going, yeah, bang this drum. Come on.
I think as I was saying the words national, I think what I meant was national media, kind of putting it with the fans. Absolutely right. Totally agree. But what if that's not true? What if these 2 units are actually a whole lot closer to being equal, but they play 81 of their games in the most pitcher-friendly park in all of baseball? What if this pitching staff isn't as good as you think it is? And what if this offense isn't as bad as you think it is? Now, that's obviously, as I said, an extreme overreaction to a lousy start on the road, but right now they're 0-4 on the road. And I just started looking at numbers yesterday, and so, before you say... this is not a defense of their offense over the last 3 years.
It's more the reality of their pitching away from home.
Yeah, it's really a look at both. It's a bit of an excuse for their offense and a bit of a hold on a minute, maybe this pitching's not quite as good as you think. This year, okay, just 4 games at home, right? So or on the road versus 12 at home. So it's not exact, or 13 at home. At home, they're scoring 3.6 runs per game. On the road, 4.5. So almost another run per game on the road for the offense.
And that includes a 9-burger at home.
Yes.
Right, kind of the outlier. That was not on the road. That was at home last Saturday.
3.6 runs at home, 4.5 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Their ERA at home is 3, even. It's over 6 on the road. Now, again, that's a Luis F. Castillo start on the road. There's some other things that work into that, but 3 at home, 6 on the road, over 6. Yeah. So your ERA is more than double on the road this year, and your runs scored per game is a full run higher. Okay, but this year's very, very small sample size, right? So let's look at last year. Well, last year,
a lot of the same pieces.
4.6 runs per game on the road, 3.76 at home.
Almost a run a game.
Not quite, but close. And if you really, you could probably average out, say 3.8, fine. But 4.6 on the road, 3.8. So 0.8 runs per game. They scored more on the road, nearly a full run per game.
Mm-hmm.
ERA, league leading 2.85 at home. Unfreaking believable. On the road, 4.15. That averages to 4.2. The Mariners on the road had a average to not great pitching staff. It was good, but it wasn't great. ERA over 4 compared to 2.85. So, again, well more than a run difference per game. Okay, that's just last year. Let's go back one more year just for fun. Let's go to 2023. right? The big strikeout offense that everybody hated with Teoscar, and that's the year with Tommy LaStella, and of course Colton Wong, the worst disaster of all
AJ
time.
Pollock.
5 runs per game on the road, for the record. 5 runs per game on the road that offense scored. 5 per game. 5 runs per game. At home, by the way, it wasn't as bad as it's been. 4.4. Now, I know they were streaky. They had ups, they had downs, so it's not like a perfect, but they scored more than half a run per game more on the road than they did at home. And the ERA that year, 3.4 at home, well over 4 on the road. So again, you're looking at well more than half a run more per game on the road than at home. So again, this cuts both ways.
So what are you telling me, Salky? What are you telling me? What are the numbers telling me?
The numbers are telling me. Just
speak to me like that draft board in 8 days. Speak to me.
The numbers are telling me that nothing is as good or as bad as it appears. The pitching has not been as good as we think for the last 3 years. It hasn't been. It's been very good, but it's not been as good as we talk about. Let's be honest. It's been very good. But it has not been, oh, my God, this is the best rotation of all time, because they get away from this incredible run-suppressing ballpark, and they're good. They're not great. They're not incredible. They're good. It's not like they're bad, and I don't mean to tell you these are bad pitchers or that it's a bad – that's not it. But let's not get carried away. This is not an unbelievable – can't imagine how you could ever waste a – no, they're good. And they're being helped quite a bit by playing half of their games in this ballpark.
Yeah,
and this offense has been mediocre at best. But it hasn't been, oh, my God, this is the worst offense anyone's ever put together. How could you possibly roll this lineup out there again and again? No, it's been mediocre, but it has not been at that level. They've just played 81 games per year in the worst hitting ballpark in baseball, and that's helping their pitchers and hurting their hitters.
And especially in the first half of each of these seasons as well. If you were to dig in, I think, a little bit further, and Lyle, I know you've talked about this, and the metrics are all out there that the run suppression and the park factor is the biggest here. I would imagine come August and September, maybe that level's a little out, but April and May, it is really hard to hit. And, Your Honor, the other evidence that I would support your case beyond these numbers, Salk, is I think the market has also shown that, in that hitters understand that. And hitters have a hard time in the free agent world coming to Seattle, especially ascending hitters. And equally, when you've maybe flirted with moving an arm and seeing what that market value was and seeing what the equivalent trade value was, well, Justin Hollander and Jerry Dipoto have said very clearly what's on one side isn't equal to the other side, because I think those same teams, Salk, look at those numbers and look at the pitching splits, right, of all of them. Brian Wu was the only one, as Lyle sent us numbers last night, who's, I think it was ERA he sent over between the home and road splits were somewhat manageable. Everybody else had a fairly statistically significant difference, including your all-star Logan Gilbert, who I think had the biggest home-road split, with some of his numbers a season ago. So, yeah, it is really nice to play in the friendly confines of T-Mobile if you're a pitcher. It's very nice for these hitters, and Dylan Moore showed that last night, to go on the road and hit away from home as well.
I think he doesn't mind hitting against left-handed pitchers instead of right-handed ones as well. I feel like that was also a nice big help for Dylan, who's maybe what you call a platoon player. And I know that some people are mad about those words, and there was a whole thought that maybe he'd be hitting against more. No. You know what he is? Really good hitter against lefties. Not so good against righties. And you saw it even throughout the game yesterday. Again, I'm not trying to bring anybody down on the pitching staff.
Is this a dental watch? Is this a dental watch?
It's definitely not. It's just a different way of looking at this Mariner team over the last few years than the one we've sort of beaten into the ground over and over and over again.
Right.
I'm not sitting here telling you the Mariners shouldn't try to improve their offense or that it couldn't be better. Of course it could, and it should. Like, their offense has been not good enough, but it hasn't been as bad as we think. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, this pitching staff's not actually good. They are good. They're just not quite as good as we think. At the end of the day, this park is a factor, a giant one. And for the person who texted and said, is this normal league-wide? No. No, it's not normal to have your pitchers, to have your hitters be significantly better on the road than they are at home. I'm going to guess if you look through Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Boston, New York, any number of other parks, you're going to find the exact opposite. So it does, I think, in a word, have a level of just changes
Impact.
the way you view it.
Yep.
It impacts
Yep.
it. 360. Justin Turner would disagree with you, Mike, and he was in that clubhouse, and he's been around. Okay. Well, he's free to disagree.
And he was here in August and September.
Yeah, let's see him come here in April and May and hit. Yeah, I'm sorry. He can disagree with me all he wants, but you know what I have here are the numbers that show it. So there's a million ways you could. What's your thing, Brock? Liars.
Figures don't lie, liars figure, Mike.
That's right.
Post hoc, nocta, promo, whatever.
Exactly. So you can mess around with numbers if you want. But as you look at it, I think those are pretty compelling numbers. And just a reminder that not everything is always exactly as it seems in this strange game of baseball.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Are insurance companies taking you for a ride? Literally? Don't let them destroy your financial future. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is your weapon against greedy insurers. They don't care about you, but Just Cause Legal does. Time is running out. Get the compensation you deserve. Call 253-859-8899 now or visit justcauselegal.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Take back control and fight for what's yours. Meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
I'm enjoying the texts about the opening segment, Brock, most of which are essentially insinuating I'm a heretic, but that's okay. Ugly start for the Mariners in Cincinnati yesterday. Luis Castillo walks a whole bunch. 4 of them came around to score, gives up 6 runs in the game. Austin Hayes with the big blow, 3-run shot in the 5th, and never really came back from that.
Were you a wiffle ball kid?
A little bit, not
you
as much
as wiffle ball growing up. Oh gosh. You know, just some days with that wiffle ball that the knuckle curve was nasty, just nasty. And then there's other days you can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some days Bryson DeChambeau has control of the club face. And then there's the final round of the Masters where he can't, and he can't fix it. There's just some of these outings with Luis where it just feels like the movement or whatever it is, you just cannot locate it. And those back-to-back walks to start the 4th after taking the lead.
Just can't do that.
Just can't do that.
Unfortunately.
You know, when a pitcher doesn't get ahead, he's just missing. And, you know, I didn't think he was missing by a lot. And you know, thought he was around the zone, just, you know, just off the edges and not getting the call. So, you know.
I mean, that's not entirely untrue, by the way. The umpire was all over the map for both teams, so I'm not saying that's what happened to Luis Castillo, but it sure didn't help yesterday. Dylan Moore providing most of the offense. Hit a couple of home runs, leadoff variety, and then a 2-run shot later. 3 for 3 against the lefty. Lodolo 0 for 2 against right-handed relievers. Not sure why he was still in there facing them. Mariners strike out 12 times in their 8-4 loss. But, Brock, Ben Williamson made his major league debut and in his first at-bat.
The windup and the 1-2 on the way, swinging a line drive, base hit left field. Ben Williamson, his first major league at-bat, his first major league hit, and he had a frozen rope into left field off of Nick Lodolo. Up with the ball, Gavin Lux gets the ball into second base. They're going to toss that ball over to third base coach Chris Negron. Chris tosses it into the Mariners dugout. Welcome to the big leagues, Ben Williamson.
Pretty cool. Actually, all 3 of his at-bats were good.
They were good.
He battled. I mean, you could see a little behind, like, oh my gosh, these guys are throwing hard. And it's
but not
the
overwhelmed.
Majors. Not overwhelmed? At all? No, I thought he stayed within himself.
The only thing overwhelming was his buddies. That was so cool to be there, to celebrate.
Yeah.
That is such a neat aspect. And we've seen that over the last few years with the Ryan Bliss family and other friends. Like, just a reminder that journey is not done alone, that it takes a village many, many times to get that player to the big leagues, and to watch that village celebrate, pretty darn neat.
Game 2 today, Bryce Miller against Nick Martinez.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, lots of draft targets, Brock, coming in for their final visits. Just 8 days here before the first round. Quarterbacks over the last couple days. Tyler Shook and Jalen Milroe both in this week, as was edge rusher Shamar Stewart from Texas. Let's see. You want a little bit of a thought? Here was Ryan Russillo. I'm sorry, Todd McShay on Ryan Russillo's podcast talking about Shook.
When I talk to teams, though, the thing with him and the maturity, what he's been through, all of that is the biggest question is, I don't mind that he's 25, and I love the maturity. I love all those things, and I see the tools because he's bigger than all these other guys. He's faster on a straight line than all these other guys. He's got his arm stacks up, all those things. It's one year of starting. So now I'm getting a 25-year-old who's only had one full year starting in college.
Yeah, they also talked about his just durability concerns as well.
That'd be 7 years in college. So
it's a lot.
He has his PhD in rocket science. 7 years in college.
It's a lot.
And he started for one of those. And by the way, get his name right, because there's going to be a big difference in that young man's life between being a quarterback with the last name Shook and Shuck.
Oh, it's Shuck?
Okay? Yes. Shuck, like an oyster, not shook like seeing ghosts.
Fair enough.
Okay, very big difference.
Fair. Shuck.
All right.
Thanks. Shuck. Bob Condotta had his mock draft yesterday. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. We'll talk more about it in a few minutes. But defensive end, it's Mikel, right? Mikel Williams. It's Michael? Is it really?
I think it's Mikel.
Honestly,
I think it's Mikel.
All right, Mikel Williams. And then second round, he went with the guard Donovan Jackson.
Yep.
And then Savon Ravel, the cornerback. And then in the third round, guy I know you like, Terrence Ferguson from Oregon, the tight end. That's Macy's buddy, right? And then Jared Wilson out of Georgia. Haley, sorry. Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia.
With the neck tattoo.
Okay,
here we go.
That'd be a pretty good draft. That'd be pretty good.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, one more loss, Brock.
Oh, you're saying you want Bob in the war room? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
after all these years, let's put Bob.
I'm just saying that'd be a pretty good first 3 rounds if you could make it happen.
In his 8-inch vertical.
I'm just saying that's a pretty good first 3 rounds. I'd be happy with that.
Good.
Crack and lose to finish off their
it?
season.
Are they done?
They're done.
Are they done finally?
They are done. They will have either the 5th or 6th best odds in the NHL lottery for the draft. Jaden Schwartz finished. I was going to ask you. Darn. Jaden Schwartz did lead the team with 26 goals. Would you have guessed that?
You were going to ask me? No.
Could you tell me who led this team in goals?
I would not have guessed him. I would have guessed McCann.
McCann led the team in both assists and points.
Okay.
Montour wins the fan favorite award. Joey Decord gets the MVP for the team. Shane Wright finished with 19 goals, 20 for Matty Beniers. And Todd Lewicki spoke yesterday to season ticket holders, says, yes, Ron Francis is going to be back for another year as GM, and they're going to drop some prices as well.
There was a perception that people couldn't get into the building, that the tickets were too expensive, and some of that was fair. So today we announced that 10% of the tickets are going to be family priced. But if you're going to do that for new fans, what about the people that were with you before we had a team name? I am eternally grateful for the fans that gave life to this franchise, and today we announced that 90% of our tickets will be flat, and 80% of our tickets for season ticket members will actually go down. The right time to thank people is when you're on your toes and when your building's full, and that's what we did today.
Good.
Yeah, very nice.
Yep.
Probably not what he was hoping to announce 4 years in, but hey, better to be proactive, right, than not. Okay, that is everything you need to know. Man, some of the texts are just great. People do not like when you bring up the possibility that like the foundational thoughts about the team might be off a little bit. Not wrong, just off. Right? So when the Mariners lose all these games, that's just the Marine layer at home? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that their pitching benefits from pitching at home, and their hitting is hurt by it. And so while their pitching is better than their hitting, no matter what, everywhere, they have a better pitching staff than they do a lineup. But the pitching's not quite as good as we think, and the lineup is not quite as bad as we think, and the numbers bear that out. Like, that's regardless of what our eyes tell us, the numbers say it pretty clearly.
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, even is looking at all those numbers, maybe even more impactful on the pitching end of it. And I think sometimes the numbers don't even tell the whole story, but just the confidence that you feel that I can throw this pitch, right? I can attack here, because even if it's barreled, it's not going to do the damage it's going to do in Fenway, in Arlington, in the Crawford boxes and all in a bandbox like Cincinnati. So I would imagine just as a pitcher, it's kind of like a quarterback. When I'm facing a corner that I know doesn't play the ball, so I'd be willing to throw that one-on-one ball. I'd be willing to force the issue a little bit more because that corner doesn't scare me. A corner who takes the ball away, who plays it like Richard Sherman did back in the day, is why Aaron Rodgers didn't throw his way. I'm not even going to look over there.
Hard to start throwing strikes on the road the same way as you do at home, right?
That's right.
Because you don't know whether they're going to get destroyed the way they do on the road.
I mean, that was Santos' issue in the 8th inning as well.
Something was his issue,
He's
that's
nibbling.
for sure.
He's nibbling.
All right. Coming up next, Brock, we'll shift gears. We'll come back to some baseball talk later, but we'll shift gears to football as we are 8 days before the draft. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, Brock, and depending on your answers, especially to the second one, I think I'm ready to make a definitive statement about the first round of the NFL draft. That's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Mike Greenberg, kind enough to join us.
Do I believe in Sam Darnold? Yes. Do I believe that he will duplicate what he did a year ago? I'm not so sure. He definitely has the talent. He is turnover prone. It is not realistic to think that's going to get coached out of him. But I think he is more than good enough to win with.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
All right, Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, that's where comfort meets elegance. You know that already, right? And this summer, man, world-class dining, great restaurants, and the entertainment as well. Elevate your next getaway by combining their effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. All right, you want music? How about amazing outdoor summer concert series? It's back with artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD as well this summer, all overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. Get tickets at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, it's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples. Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
No, just Brock and Nicholas today here on Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. That's me, Nicholas Copernicus, Brock. You remember Nicholas, the father of modern astronomy, who first proposed the heliocentric model of the universe, which put the sun at the center instead of the earth, and was essentially labeled a heretic for suggesting that what everybody knew to be true couldn't possibly be. That's the kind of text I'm getting this morning. Salk, I was sitting at home yesterday when the Mariners organization reached out to me to make sure I had an organizational talking point to discredit the only strength of this team and to make people think that the front office has done a better job than they have. That's definitely not. Why would the Mariners want me to discredit their pitching staff? Just out of curiosity, I'm a little confused. Anyway.
By the way, speaking of pitching, you see Logan Evans again? Lyle's buddy, back-to-back starts spinning it. Laz is on fire, and Everett. All sorts of good stuff bubbling underneath the surface.
There were some compliments, which is nice, and I'll completely agree with this person. I like your critical thinking, Salk. Refreshing for me to think about a different perspective on the M struggles. The bottom line is still true, though. The organization has not put together a good enough team. Agreed. That does not change. That does not change based on looking at things a little bit differently. 100% agree. At the end of the day, it's a bottom line. You got to win more games than they have. You got to make the playoffs, and you got to go deep into it. So totally agree. Even Nicholas Copernicus, even Galileo Galilei, Brock, would be on the same page. All right. Will you help me answer these 2 questions, Brock, because it's going to get me, I think, to a definitive statement.
All right.
We've talked about the Seahawks' biggest need, obviously the interior of the offensive line. We've talked about sort of the most fun pick they could make as quarterback, even though they probably won't. We've talked about the safest thing you can always do at 18, which is draft a defensive tackle. We've talked about the things that are non-starters, like wide receivers and their stem leveraging and cornerbacks, which they've already done. We've even gone kind of weird off the board like tight end. But what about edge? What about
really
edge
thought you
defenders?
were going to ask running back. What about Ashton Genty, Amari, and Hampton?
I wasn't going to go there.
Okay.
What about edge? What about guys who play the edge? But in order to answer that question, I need you to answer two for me.
Okay.
Well, one we can answer together, which is what do you think of their current group of edge players? The second is what do you think of the edge rushers who might be available at number 18?
All right.
The first question, I think, is pretty simple. They're good. Not bad. Not great. They're good. Boye Mafe a starter, but ideally he's a complementary starter, right? He's the second guy of your two edge defenders. A second starter. Derek Hall, ideally, is a complementary piece. Probably at best right now, same thing, a second starter. Nwosu hasn't done really anything in 2 years, and at this point, Lawrence is kind of a one-dimensional player. So I'm looking at your group of four, and I don't see any true number one, this guy you have to deal with every down edge defender. Is that fair?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Good.
I think that's
they're
fair.
good. They were 10th in the league in sacks last year. That's 9 behind second place Baltimore, just because Baltimore popped up there. I thought I'd throw them in there. Middle of the pack in both pass rush and run stop win rate. None of their edge guys made the top 10 in either of those two stats. Leonard Williams did for defensive tackles in the run. They didn't have any Pro Bowlers. And we did watch Jared Verse do his thing in L.A. and kind of the difference that meant for them last year. So I would say based on that, yes, they could use a premier edge player. But not just any edge player. Like, you've got to get somebody who's going to come in and be better than Boye Mafe, or it's probably not really worth it. At least at 18.
Yeah, and since you're kind of on that numbers kick last segment to start the show, Derek Hall, 8 sacks. Boye Mafe, 6 sacks. It doesn't tell all the story.
No, and those numbers are fine.
Yeah.
They're good. For your second defensive
Leonard
end.
Williams, 11 sacks. Phenomenal. Elite. Great. Difference maker.
Yes.
Right? Yep, one of the best at his position. The edges... Yeah, good.
They're good.
Not great.
And if you don't draft a defensive end, your team will be just fine this year. It's not going to hurt you. And I don't know that I need them to do that in the middle rounds because that's likely where you're going to get players that would be complementary pieces. And I don't know that they need more complementary pieces on the edge. But if you have an opportunity to add somebody that is an upgrade over one of those players who could truly be a number one on the edge, that's probably going to come at number 18. So, Brock, this is really where you come in.
Okay.
Who might be available? The names, just looking at it, you got Shamar Stewart, who was in for a visit this week. We can talk about him from Texas. Donovan Eziraku?
Yeah, we're going to have to ask DJ about that one.
Okay, he's from Boston College. He's mocked at number 19.
What do you always say about DNs from Boston
Well,
College?
I've been wrong before. So
Harold
he's mocked at 19 for DJ, so obviously he's in sort of the same range. Mike Green from Marshall at 17. Is that another DJ question?
A little bit. Saw him. He was a transfer to Marshall where he just lit the world on fire and left the Senior Bowl after 2 days because he thought he was that good.
Okay, and then you've profiled Michael Williams from Georgia. So no other edge rushers get first-round grades from Dane Brugler, who I was looking at yesterday, other than, of course, Abdul Carter, and then is it Jalon Walker, who they're not going to have a shot in all likelihood at those two guys.
Correct.
So... What do you think? Are any of those three guys a significant upgrade over what you've got right now at the end?
You know what those three smell like? Boom or bust. With the BC guy probably in the middle of it. There could be a real opportunity that they flourish. There could be a real opportunity, Salk. They never even get to good. Now, Shamar Stewart, who was in for a visit, is by far the most intriguing. Right, we talked about him early on in the process, and certainly around the combine, because his combine comparison was physically just pure the physical traits, the clay to mold, was Myles Garrett. I mean, they're just like, again, you hear me say this quite a bit. There's just not many human beings that can walk the earth and do the things physically that those guys did. 6'5", 270. 34 like KJ Wright arms, like 34 1/8 inch arms, ran 4.59 with a 1.58 start.
Jeez.
Faster than receivers. He jumped 40 inches. He broad jumped nearly 11 feet. Like, you're just not, again, that's just That is so far out there on the physical athletic spectrum that you just think this guy's a monster. 5-star out of high school, super talented. 3 years he had 4.5 sacks.
Why?
It's just exactly.
He probably just didn't get good play up front on the defensive line from guys like Byron Murphy. No, I mean, like, obviously he did. Where's
no,
the
he was
production?
A&M, yeah, but he had other. Yeah,
he was A&M. I'm sorry, I thought he was Texas.
No, he was A&M.
I'm sorry.
But he had talented guys around him at A&M, a lot of them. And it's like Santos. How do you have what does Santos have this year? 11 walks and no strikeouts? That's not possible. When you throw 99 with a slider, that's not possible. That's not possible to have that frame, that explosion.
Is he not good at football?
That would be the very real question.
I mean, you've watched him.
They walked through the door. He walked through the door yesterday, and we know the way John Schneider handles this. And you'll hear the show tomorrow and one more before the draft. And his constant refrain is, man, are you about this game? Are you about this craft? Or are you just about the things that the craft brings? Are you coming in this building to light it on fire? Or are you coming in here?
He's got to have at least a work ethic to have worked out and gotten himself in shape. And I mean, it's not like he's lazy.
A lot of guys love to work out and look really good, and jump really good, and do all that. Do you love to put your face in the fan? Do you love to destroy the man in front of you? Do you love all the hard aspects of the game? Those are the questions that, they're going to seek a lot of answers, and obviously why he was in for a visit. So he is like this big boomer bust guy. I was listening to the GM there, Dan Campbell, at Carolina, and he had his because I think Carolina and the Patriots, I was listening to Vrabel as well. They had their kind of Dan Morgan. I apologize, not Dan Campbell. He's in Detroit. Dan Morgan. A lot of Dans out there.
That's right.
And he was just saying college production matters. Like, I need to see production. You want something that, through the test of time, like you produce in college, you've got a better shot to produce in the league. Guys, Mike Mamula, that don't produce in college but are off the charts physically, there's a long track record of those guys just not being difference makers at the next level. So he scares me.
But he's actually got the upside ability to maybe be better than Mafe.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, elite kind of physical traits upside to be a total difference maker, but you've not seen it. Like, I need to see you.
How about Mike Green?
Now, Mike Green had something like 17 sacks last year. Mike Green went to the combine and just tried to end Josh Connerly's career and just embarrassed him and ran through him and ran over them. And literally after 2 days of being, it was like, okay, you've seen enough? Because I've seen enough. Like, I'm gonna go home. I'll blow up anybody, right? So he's kind of got that edge and that fire. And now he did it at Marshall. I forget where he transferred from. I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me here. But he was a transfer to Marshall, and that's where, the numbers really took off over the last couple seasons. And again, that's not to diminish the competition that Marshall is playing, but you're not going up week after week after week after week like Shamar Stewart is in the SEC or in the Big Ten, as many of the guys I profiled have. But he's a twitched up dude. He's twitched up.
That one's pretty interesting to me. I got to be honest. Just hearing the description, hearing what he did at the Senior Bowl, hearing kind of who he is. I know Marshall might not be where you always go to find your, game-changing defensive end.
Can you make sure you make a note and add that to your DJ questions?
Oh, for sure. I will ask him about both those guys. Both him and the dude from BC as well. Because if the answer to one of those three questions, Brock, for those three guys is, that's an upgrade over Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, I'm in. That's what I want them to do in the first round.
Virginia, by the way, first couple years, University of Virginia, you didn't see that level of production, and then it really took off. Now he's not as big, 6'3", 251, so it's not like he's little, but he's not he's
just a little guy, 6'3", 250.
6'3", 250, 32-inch arms,
right?
Small hands, 8.5-inch hands, but rep 225 28 times, so just a power-packed,
right?
Like just ball of explosion.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and say definitively I want the Seahawks to take a defensive end at number 18. But
if there's a difference maker,
if
there's
one of those four guys, Shamar Stewart, Donovan Ezuraku, Mike Green, or you've also profiled Michael Williams, if one of those four guys you have a true belief that they can be better than what you've got, that's what you should do. And I know that everyone said, well, Salk, all you've done is talk about interior O-line. I'm not saying you can't get those things in the second round. I'm saying that you need to get them before you get your wide receiver. That's what I'm saying.
And you know, it's interesting. The two guys that are physically the most set apart, like they are just different, and even different than Boye and Derek, who are brick houses themselves, are Michael and Shamar. But both of those guys, when I've reached out to people in their markets and reached out to Stinchcomb and Cole Kublik, say the same thing they said about Boye and about Derek, which is, you know, really elite athletes, but whether it's instinct or whether it's moves or whether it's a repertoire, they didn't really explode.
The BC guy's thing is the opposite. He's been all about production. Like, that's why he's on this list, is that he's been a productive pass rusher for a few years in college. So, yeah, we'll talk to DJ. We'll get more on it. But, okay, I'm not quite ready for the definitive statement, Brock.
Good.
But, barring what DJ has to say, it may very well be coming by the end of the day. How's that? Because I'm getting pretty close.
Two of them? I mean, from Galileo to
Copernicus?
That'd be just awesome. Brilliant.
Just a little Nicholas Copernicus this morning. Will that come up in Blue 88? Probably not, but we'll do it right now.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, what was the trend that started in last year's draft that's starting to emerge once again?
Yeah, one thing that's popping out to me a little bit, and the sound of Les Snead and Sean talking about this down there in L.A. about Byron Murphy. Remember how badly the Rams wanted Byron Murphy? Remember them trying to call teams up ahead of the Seahawks at 14 and 15? I think it was the Colts, and they just could not get something done with them because they, like John Schneider and the Seahawks, had a real affinity for Byron Murphy. And you're starting to feel a little bit of that when you look at the players, these 30 visits to San Francisco, to L.A., to Seattle. There's a lot of guys making the same trips. There's Jalen Milroe. Goes and visits L.A., comes up to Seattle. Why? Because, well, this scheme is going to be a fit. Some of the things and guys that you're looking at on the offensive line between San Francisco and L.A. and Seattle, kind of a similar skill set. Some of the way you want to play defense, you know, setting the point of attack and being aggressive and being 4-down fronts like San Francisco and L.A. and Seattle. So you're starting to see that maybe a little bit like Northwestern and Duke and Stanford and BC all fight kind of for the same student athlete coming out of high school. You kind of see, and it's not, you know, I don't want to make it hyperbolic, but you are seeing, I think, in LA and in San Francisco and in Seattle with a lot of like-mindedness there. A lot of scheme familiarity offensively, right? They largely all want to do the same things in the outside zone and the play action and the movement game off of that. And then, you know, some of the aggressiveness that you want to have, especially on your front four. So, yeah, the pool somewhat similar between those 3 teams, especially, and we'll see how that plays out in 8 days.
All right, question number 2. If the Seahawks were to go in a direction here in the first couple of rounds, we've mentioned a lot of names. What position have we not mentioned enough names yet that they could actually draft?
The one we just spent 15 minutes talking about. And I'm glad we did. Because honestly, as we're getting closer, and I can't wait to talk to DJ today and next Wednesday. My buddy Joel Klatt, who sits on the desk with him, Charles Davis, these guys, Salk, who have been looking at all these names, right? Who've been watching all this tape, who are studying their butts off. I mean, the amount of man hours that they spend on all of this, and then to kind of get to the test, right, and get to that stage and being on camera for those guys on set for 4, 5, 6 hours, as Bump and Wyman and Bob and I will be as well. On the radio, and you're like, okay, I know all these names, right? I've studied all this. I know all these vocabulary terms. I know Galileo. I know, what's his name,
Copernicus?
Yes, I know him. I know all these guys. And then all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, there's James Carpenter. Well, there is a name I don't really know that well. If we were going to be hit by that at the 18th pick, or if they trade to the 23rd pick, I feel like we've talked about every lineman possible, every receiver possible, every tight end possible, every running back possible, linebackers possible, safeties possible. But it's these edge players. And I'm glad we did that little exercise with Shamar and with Mike Green and with some of those guys, because that to me is the grouping that's very intriguing. It's also the grouping that may have some of the most boom or bust of any individual group, especially in the first couple rounds.
All right, question number 3. The latest on Shedeur Sanders having his
they got to
jersey
rescind
retired.
this. They got to rescind this.
They do, meaning Colorado?
No, I'm just meaning Dion. Come on, Dion. Like, this is, I was listening to our sister station in Denver yesterday, Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
One of your favorites.
Yeah,
What
I
a
love
great
Philip
guy,
Lindsay.
man.
Is he?
He's
Loved him as
so
a player.
fun. He's so energetic. He does the afternoon show, The Drive,
Uh-huh.
on our sister station there in Bonneville called The Fan. And listening to him yesterday, like, I was kind of like bothered, but this is just dumb. In my mind, I'm like, Dion, this is just really dumb. This is one of these really self-centered decisions you're making, and you walk this line between faith and humility and then this bravado and self-centeredness. This is so far on that end of the pendulum that you need to rescind this. Like Gabe Spire running out of the bullpen, just send it back. Just say, no. We put Shedeur on there. This is Travis's day. We're retiring Shedeur's jersey from Jackson State. We're gonna do something really cool for the HBCU, and we're gonna do something really to honor Shedeur's time there, where he was the best player, where he did change the program, where we did elevate Jackson State to a place it never been. We're not doing this at Colorado because this is such an unbelievable disservice to all of the great players that have not had their jersey retired, who did infinitely more than you ever did at this program. And oh, by the way, and I saw a tweet yesterday from a guy who played, oh gosh, I should have took a snapshot of this, but he played with Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, and I want to say Josh Allen or somebody else, and he's like, yeah, you know who has not retired their jerseys at Texas Tech? Patrick Mahomes' jersey's not retired at Texas
Dion
Tech.
just says that's not my problem. They should.
Dion saying,
Dion saying, what do I care what they've done with Patrick Mahomes? They should retire his jersey. That's their fault.
This is such a disservice.
Well, so that's an interesting
to
part
the
of it,
players
Brock, for me.
before you.
Well, and also
like
to
really,
to
and
this
it
kid, like,
it is,
this
and
is
it's a
not
disservice.
Shedur's fault.
No, and it's a disservice to Shedeur, who
I
feel
said
bad
for Shedeur.
I do too.
I feel bad for him. Like
it's like daddy ball. It's like these teams. You'll see it.
Dad, would you leave me alone? I don't need my jersey retired. Just let me be.
That's Blue 88. We
I'll
got
tell
to
you
dig in
what.
this further.
Seriously, if I were Shedeur Sanders, it'd be really hard to do. But because I don't know there's a relationship with his dad or all that, but like it would be an interesting message to prospective NFL teams, fans, et cetera, be like, I actually don't want this.
That's right.
I never wanted this. I appreciate the honor. I had nothing to do with it. But you know what? Maybe one day down the road, that would be a nice thing for me. But I would like my buddy to have his day. And this is not about me.
Yes.
But he's got to do that, not Dion. I don't want to hear Dion do it. I don't care what Dion thinks.
100%.
I care what this kid thinks because he's the one who's going to play.
And remember, his nickname is Grown, as in like grown man.
Right.
As in at 14, he was signing autographs, and then, it's kind of neat. Panini's doing his autograph. His dad had him signing autographs at 14, like, trying to always
Panini's?
Set him up for success.
What does that mean?
No, Panini, the brand, they do a bunch of stuff like this, and they have a card brand.
What?
And he was
Got
signing
a
his
Panini
picture.
press for his wedding.
Yeah, there's a picture of him at 14 doing it, and now at 24 or whatever. It's pretty cool, kind of, foretelling what could come. And Dion, all along the way, from the high school he went to Jackson State to Colorado, like has done a really neat job of setting his son up for success. This is setting him up for failure. This is sabotaging the really neat bonds that you built with your past at Colorado, resurrecting a dead program of the last 20 years. But the Chad Browns, the Philip Lindsays, just listening to those Tyler Columbuses, like, what are you doing here, man? This ain't right.
Yeah, I can understand.
This is hurting your kid in the long run.
Carter from Tacoma weighing in says Salk's Aqua Sox jersey needs to be retired immediately. Yeah, that's good. We'll get on that right away.
Salk, do you let people know what we're doing in an hour?
No, I didn't tell people. I thought that would be a good, fun surprise. I did say there was something. It was a funny bit that you came up with, which is
it was the best. I'm not going to say the best because Mom got me a really neat bath pillow and some salts. Molly got me some neat shoes to coach in.
Nice.
I got some neat gifts yesterday. But as far as one of those simple little gifts that somebody sent me, that literally it was like happy birthday. I was crying in the car laughing.
Really?
Oh, I was like, this is the neatest little birthday gift that I've gotten, and I thought maybe we can pull it off on the radio show. So we'll try to do so in an hour.
All right, we'll do that in an hour. Up next, we've got another draft profile. This is a big one. This is a very likely potential target for the Seahawks.
We're down to
at number 18. This is one you're going to want to hear because he's very interesting. That's next before Daniel Jeremiah at 8:30. I'm Brock and Salk.
For down territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What's something people may have confused about what a run-heavy offense actually means?
People think that they're just going to run the heck out of the football. We're running the ball 35, 40 times. That's not really it. I want people to think of a run-heavy offense as that's the first punch that's going to be thrown. And it's going to be thrown often. But there are days you spread them out and you just let it go because you feel like there's advantages in other places on the field.
For down territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply. With locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Hey Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Now you're under attack.
Huh?
Now you're under attack.
Good.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Danny says, Brock, pump the brakes. Is Brock Deion Sandering his own kid after calling it daddy ball?
Yeah, I'm not coaching Titus.
Oh.
Yeah, the coach made that really clear, which is awesome, and I totally agree with. I shouldn't coach my son's position. That'd be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially this coach who's been a very esteemed college coach in QB. Like, it's what he loves to do. Go for it. I have no problem coaching the tight ends.
Okay.
No problem.
Good.
And some of this honestly came about because yesterday my girls put together some really special stuff on Instagram and Twitter and social media. And so, man, I felt so loved yesterday.
Yeah,
I think
you
because
should.
of their little footprint in that world.
Man, your
I
wife
heard
said
from
some
a lot of
really
people.
nice things to you.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really, really sweet. But anyway, Haley put up a picture. And so I think were we doing the show even at this time? So Haley, no, this was even preceded our show. Haley must have been like 2 or 3 years old. I was just 2 or 3 years out of college. I was with the Seahawks, and the Husky football, like in the third quarter, do like a honor a former player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really neat, deal. And they put up a few highlights, and there were people all upset that, gosh, you're only 3 years out of school. You're not like a former legend or former player. Great, you're still with the Seahawks. And I remember like hearing some of that scuttlebutt, like, yeah, this maybe is a little bit early. I mean, I appreciate it because it's kind of in my prime from a picture standpoint. And Haley's as cute as a button at 2 years old. But like that was 3 years later. This is 3 months after the season.
Well, Deion knows he's not going to be there that much longer now that the kids are gone. You better try to make this happen while you
it's
can.
just, and it's trying to, down the road, his legacy, his number's up there. It's retired. It's, it's just not right for the kid. Just not right for the kid. Anyhow, we're done with
All right, we're going to move forward because we're getting real close, Brock. 8 days away from the first round of the draft. And if the Seahawks do call this name at number 18, I don't think anybody's going to be too upset. Let's get to today's draft profile.
The Seattle Seahawks select.
This is Brock Heward's draft profile.
You want traits? Check. You want a vocal leader? Check.
At the end of the day, you have to say, okay, what's best for the organization? Can you make people around you better, and can you bring people together?
Every day leading up to the draft.
Yeah, number 4. We're down to number 4. Number 3 tomorrow, and then we'll get into next week. Number 4 on my list is left tackle, University of Texas, Kelvin Banks. Basically, rinse and repeat from left tackle Josh Connerly at Oregon, but a little more accomplishment. Actually, not a little more, a lot more accomplishment. Remember I told you yesterday about Rainier Beach's Josh Connerly, young. There's 2 silos in my players here that I've highlighted as I'm looking at our list, Salk, from Jay Higgins, Jonah Monheim, Terrence Ferguson to Savion, Kenneth Grant. There's like 2 silos. There's the silo of the older player that have been there through COVID, that's developed, that's maybe hit much more of his ceiling. And then there's those 21-year-olds. And Kelvin Banks, left tackle, University of Texas, just turned 21 less than a month ago. So when Kelvin Banks, 5-star out of Houston, Texas, Big-time high school football, by the way. Tough high school football. You practice in like 100 humidity down in Texas. Just crazy. When Kelvin Banks was, 18 years old coming out of high school, you know what he did? His first year for Steve Sarkisian, he started 13 games at left tackle. Didn't miss a game. Freshman All-American. I had him that year. And I remember talking to his OC and O-line coach, like, how is this possible? And he's like, he's just a man amongst boys. How's he doing this at 19 years old? Excuse me, 8. So he just turned 21. He did that at 18 years old.
Wow.
Started 13 games at left tackle at the University of Texas, the first to ever do it as a true freshman 18-year-old. And even at that point was 6'5" and 300 pounds. Hadn't fully grown into his body, obviously, at 18. Now he's 6'5" and a half. He's 315. He's 33.5-inch arms. He's 10.5-inch hands. He is a massive guy. I'm going to send you a picture. So let's see if I can multitask. Actually,
you
while
don't
we
need
play,
to. I could
no, I'm
Google
going
that.
to. While we play the sound of Bruce Feldman talking about Kelvin Banks, I'm going to send you a picture of Kelvin so you can see the caliber of athlete.
This is when we
about.
asked Bruce whether he had Zabel at number 18.
I just think it's a little high to grab Zabel. One of the coaches I spoke to who knows that program really well at NDSU, he was like, he's talented. He goes, but I don't think he's quite as good as Cody Mock, who was a guard with the Bucks, who came out of the same Missouri Valley Conference. Spencer Brown, he's now the Bills' starting offensive right tackle. He was like, I don't think he's as good as those guys. He's good. He's a good athlete. He goes, I think he's better than Trevor Penning. But Trevor Penning's been a huge disappointment as a first-round pick to the Saints. And so, again, not to knock him, but I don't know, is he a top 20 pick? He looked really good at the Senior Bowl, to his credit, and I think the other one that's interesting there, who I think is better than probably where I have him, is Kelvin Banks, who's the offensive tackle from Texas. Now, he did not look good against Georgia, and they played him twice. But earlier in his career, he went up against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, who are obviously elite speed edge rushers, and Will Anderson's more than just a speed guy. And he held his own really well.
Yeah, I think we also heard from Bruce about Kelvin, some of the behind the scenes from this last season where he did battle a little bit of an ankle issue, where he did battle his mom that had gotten sick and dealing with these things. And let's remember, this guy played at 18 as a true freshman, 13 starts. At 19, as a grown 19-year-old, Salk, 14 starts, first team All-SEC as a true sophomore. And then last year as a true junior, 15 starts, played through that ankle, missed just one game. Missed just one game in 3 years as an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old in the SEC, where he was all-conference and became the Outland Award winner, the Lombardi Award winner, a first-team All-American. Did all of that at 20 years of age. Did you see the picture I just sent you?
He's a big boy.
He
filled up the whole iPhone screen. I'll tell you that much.
He's an athlete, though. He's got this proportionality to him. He moves. He ran 5'1". He basically had Dwayne Brown's numbers at the combine. Jumped even better, 32-inch jump, 5'1", 40, nearly 9-foot broad jump. And you're going to get the best of Kelvin Banks. He's not reached his ceiling. To think he's going to come into this league as a 21-year-old, Salk, with 42 starts at an All-American level, and do so as a 21-year-old with that movement, that athleticism, you're going to get the best of Kelvin for the next 3, 4, 5 years. In the best-case scenario, Charles Cross, you play left tackle. Abe, you play right tackle. Or maybe, Abe, you slide in and play right guard, and this guy plays right tackle. I don't know. I got athlete. I got athlete. I got athlete. I got stud. I got stud. I got stud. I got clay that I've not had to mold on the offensive line in a long time in Seattle. Draft Kelvin Banks.
All right. Well, we asked Matt Miller, or at least I did last week, and I'll probably ask the same question to Daniel Jeremiah today. If Banks, Zabel, and Booker are all available, which one do you take? Here's what Matt Miller said.
I want Kelvin Banks. He's my number 8 overall player. So that's like easy. I would run to the podium. I do not understand the slander about Kelvin Banks right now, if you want to call it that. 3-year starter. While at Texas, he surrendered 3 sacks, 1 per year. Last year, his pressure rate allowed was the lowest in college football. Everyone focuses on the Georgia game. When you were struggled to get the ball out, like he was seeing ghosts out there. The ball was not coming out. Kelvin Banks gave up 1 sack in that game that was on him, and Jalon Walker made a hell of a play. I would run to the table with Banks. And again, I'm a Charles Cross fan. I think Kelvin Banks could be an all-pro guard if you want to put him at left guard. He's 6'4". He's got a big wingspan. He's great in the run game. His mobility in the pass game. I think if you put him at guard next to a good tackle, man, you could have something really, really special.
Yeah, he's actually 6'5" and an 8. He's actually even longer than 6'4". So, yeah, I don't know. Actually, I should have maybe saved him as number 1 or 2. Honestly, 1, 2, 3, and 4, get out of the bag. They're all offensive linemen, right? They're different values in different spots. He's a top 10. Matt Miller said number 8. Let's ask DJ. I'll look at DJ.
He just said overall he should be an all-pro guard. Well, that'd be helpful.
You think?
Right now, they don't even really have pro guards. It'd be cool to go from non-pro guard to all-pro guard. That's just what I think. That's a great draft profile today. Kelvin Banks, I won't be disappointed at all.
First time I spit.
Yeah, you were very fired up about that.
I was kind of
that was
spitting
good.
my way through that.
If he's number 4, I don't even know what's coming up over the course of the next 3. One of them's got to be Gray Zabel, but Matt Miller and Bruce Feldman both kind of put that to bed. They're both like, what? No, you take Banks over Zabel. So maybe we got to ask DJ that same question. We'll do that and a whole lot more in 20 after everything you need to know next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Just in the case of Gino, you make an offer to somebody, and then later he goes and speaks and talks about it. He felt disrespected. I mean, that's probably not unique either. I mean,
No.
He's entitled to feel how he feels.
Exactly. Yeah, very comfortable the way we handled it. You can't tell somebody how to feel. Like, it's just like any other relationship. Like, it's the way you feel. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates, and Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Not the start anybody wanted for this road trip, not just because the Mariners lose yesterday 8-4, but because, unfortunately, you can't get too deep into the game with Luis Castillo. Didn't pitch particularly well, bunch of walks, and then obviously gave up the huge 3-run home run in the bottom of the fifth, and that was essentially all she wrote from there. We did see some criticism this morning on the text machine, wondering why Dan Wilson stayed with Luis Castillo there, when obviously it was clear to everyone that he was done, and Colin Snyder definitely would have gotten out of that jam. I'm not sure I'm there. For me, like, fifth inning of a road trip, I think
First
I'd like to.
game of a long road trip?
Yeah, I think I'd like to get through 5 if I can with my most veteran starter. Dan explains.
It's a tough one there. I think, Rock comes through in a lot of those situations, and we've seen it time and time again. And, I think he was still at about 85 pitches, 87 pitches, something like that. So there was still some left in the tank. Obviously, they were able to convert there and take the lead. So it's just, just weren't able to get enough offense going later in the game to kind of get that lead back, and that was a tough one.
I don't know about the end of it. I don't know.
In the middle of it, you had the bases loaded, and you had Cal up, and it just you were again 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Probably not going to blame the offense for not scoring 9.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you struck out 12 times, and that's not what you were hoping to do. But, I don't know if I expect them to get 9. Yeah, your pitching's got to get it done. But what, you're going to take him out in the 5th inning? That seems a little early.
I will say this, too, and you mentioned the numbers to start the show of the pitching splits home and away, and those are real numbers and real tangible differences. Bryce Miller here, we talked about some of the soreness and things that he's working through. The number that jumps out, he has 8 walks through his first 3 starts. He had entire months last year where he didn't walk 8 people. Sure. He had an entire month where he walked 4 people for the entire month last year. And the walks were the bugaboo yesterday for Luis, and that can't Can't happen today. So I'll be real curious. I hope, just the command and the sharpness and just that walk number for Bryce. I'll be watching that one pretty intently.
Yeah, he's on the mound today against Nick Martinez. Ben Williamson made his major league debut yesterday, which is always fun. He had his whole family. What, they have 17 people there. Brad Adam. Poor Brad, awkwardly sitting next to them trying to do the interview. I thought Brad did as good a job as you could possibly do in that spot, but that's got to be a difficult place to be. You're sitting there while he's taking his second at bat. That's tough. And I thought
Brad's a pro's pro.
He handled that A+ well.
Super solid here.
That's a tough spot to be.
Great warmth.
Ben Williamson said, he feels even better now.
It just gave me a lot of confidence. I've been refining my approach a lot with 2 strikes, trying to get the ball as deep as possible, and that just gave me a lot of confidence knowing that even against the best arms, I'm still able to have that approach where I'm able to foul tough pitches off and try to see if I can get a good one to hit.
Like that.
I liked his approach. He saw 6+ pitches in every at bat. Again, only 1 hit, but hey, for his first major league game, I thought he looked pretty darn good.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks are meeting with prospects, Brock. They've gone the quarterback route here the last couple of days, as Tyler Shuck and Jalen Milroe have both been in, as was edge rusher Shamar Stewart, who we've talked about a little bit as well. Here is, let's see, what do I have for you? You want some Field Yates on why Jalen Milroe is just so exciting, but...
The tantalizing upside for Jalen Milroe is completely indisputable in my book. At the same time, we saw it this past year. If you put together the 10 best plays of Jalen Milroe's season last year, he'd be the number 1 pick in the draft, right? Yes. But then you got to kind of ride the wave here with Jalen Milroe because he really struggled at times to play in rhythm as a passer, did not have great touch in the short and intermediate game, but his trait of running is as dynamic as really any trait of any quarterback in the entire class.
Yeah, you put his 10 top plays, they are the best highlight film. You put the 10 worst plays, it's probably the worst low light film right there with Tyler Shuck.
That one you just showed me of Tyler Shuck was pretty bad.
You didn't like feeling the pressure and just, woo!
I'll just get rid of this ball to wherever it goes. Who cares? Don't need it. Don't want it around. We can ask Daniel Jeremiah more about that, but I really like the Bob Condotta mock draft. I don't know whether Mykel Williams is the right DN, but I kind of like that he went DN with the 18 pick. I think I'm really leaning that way as well. Second round, you go get your guard and Donovan Jackson from Ohio State and a corner in Savon Ravel, 2 positions that would work in those spots. And then in the third round, a tight end, Terrence Ferguson. And then in this version, Jared Wilson's still available near the end of the third round. We've seen a lot of him as a second rounder, but if that works, that would be tremendous.
Yeah, print that one out. I'll be curious to see what the market conditions really are like, because I have a sense that those big guys are going to go a lot earlier than that, but I'd sign up for that one too. There is a lot of big talented players in that mock.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, Kraken season ends last night, and I'm bummed out. I just love hockey season. Obviously, I'll be excited about the Stanley Cup playoffs starting now, but yeah, I just like turning on the Kraken game every couple of nights, and huge kudos to John Forsland, who was once again as good a part of any broadcast as you're going to find. One of the best parts of the Kraken coming here has been John Forsland's arrival. They lose to the Kings 6-5. They did score a couple goals late to kind of make it competitive, but was not largely a very close game.
Ticket prices going down. Todd Lywicki, being the smart businessman he is, knows that, we got to do something for our fans that have watched the product here, that heading into, year 4 next year, is not as far along as it needs to be.
Not where it was supposed to be.
There was a perception that people couldn't get into the building, that the tickets were too expensive, and some of that was fair. So today we announced that 10% of the tickets are going to be family priced. But if you're going to do that for new fans, what about the people that were with you before we had a team name? I am eternally grateful for the fans that gave life to this franchise, and today we announced that 90% of our tickets will be flat, and 80% of our tickets for season ticket members will actually go down. The right time to thank people is when you're on your toes and when your building's full, and that's what we did today.
I love the way he handles that, and thanks to Fox 13 for the sound there of Todd Lywicki. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and
It's
Salk
getting
Show.
real, man. It is getting real.
It's getting real?
Yeah. 8 days away. I bet DJ flies into Green Bay, next Wednesday, Tuesday?
I don't know. You think he's got to get there ahead to really, set up shop?
The lay of the land, sure.
Get used to the time zone, time change, and
San
everything.
Diego to Appleton and out to Green Bay. Not the easiest trip. Not the easiest trip.
No, I'm sure.
But it's getting real. Lots of names, lots of...
You don't think DJ has a private plane chartered for something like that? I would assume if somebody at his level gets chartered a private plane to
PJ?
Probably straight into Green Bay.
PJ for DJ? I don't think so. No, he's a man of the
Interesting.
people.
All right.
First class.
We got a lot of questions for him. The edge rushers, Brock. We got to ask him that same question about Banks, Zabel, or Booker. We'll do that and a whole lot more with Daniel Jeremiah 8 days before the draft. Next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
All right, let's talk weight loss. Let's talk East Side Weight Loss Clinic. Why? Because it works. Like legit, the plan works. Been in the maintenance phase for a while, but decided to hop back on the full plan here in the last couple of weeks. No problem. Just lost 17 pounds. Yeah, just easy, convenient, works, and adjust with your lifestyle. You can go into that weight loss mode whenever you need to, and then when you hit your goal, you just get back on the maintenance plan, and that'll keep you right in the same general area. You don't have that whole yo-yo effect at all, where you immediately gain back weight as soon as you're done with the program. No, this is a lifestyle deal, lifestyle habits that can keep you at your target weight in a totally sustainable way. I've done it, and I continue to stay on it. So does Ryan Rowland-Smith. He's doing it now. He's lost over 30 pounds, and yeah, we'll hear from people in our building, listeners, advertisers, etc., people who text in and like, hey, this plan's worked for me. Like, yeah, of course, because it really does work and it's not that hard to do. It all starts with a 15-minute phone consult. You can schedule that right now, today, at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. See if it's right for you. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
It's time to celebrate Seattle golf with a community swing event. Tuesday, April the 29th at the Jackson Park Golf Course from 11 till 6. Music on the range, free 10-minute lessons, club fittings, food and beverage specials, bucket golf, and free face painting, a Seattle golf celebration. $25 greens fees after 11 a.m. at Jacksonville Wright in West Seattle. Free top tracer at Inner Bay, along with food and beverage specials at all the great Seattle locations. It's the garage reminding you to play the courses. Play virtual, play premier.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been involved in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you with an aggressive team dedicated to securing the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Thursday, April 24th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Thursday, April 24th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners have a great slate of special events and marquee matchups all season long. Bring mom to the ballpark for Mother's Day weekend, May 9th to 11th, including a clear purse giveaway Sunday the 11th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Then don't miss a star-studded showdown against the Yankees May 12th to 14th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, waiting on DJ. He's going to be with us in just a moment or two. Daniel Jeremiah texted with him last night, so I know he's aware. So we should see him pop up here on video any moment. And yeah, so there you go. That's what's going on right now. Maybe he can talk to us about stem leveraging, Brock.
Maybe. What do you think about that Ian Rappaport tweet yesterday that I sent him as well? I think I included you on that.
Which
where
one
Ian
was
Rappaport said that some of these teams, Jacksonville is going to follow suit with the Rams and things they've done in the past, where they don't bring guys in. They're draftable guys for visits or don't do workouts or what have you.
So is that to throw other people off the scent, or is it because they don't want paralysis by overanalysis?
Or they don't want any kind of bias that maybe you feel like there's some sort of bias that they've learned from their past. I think kind of fascinating there. Is that psychology? Is that physical? Is that, like, I don't know. I would think, and I know you know this from firsthand experience, having hired people, Salk, that there were people maybe in the past that you'd have hired. And then when you actually bring them out and visit and spend time, you're like, ooh, this one may not work out quite as well.
Yeah,
right?
no, I definitely thought Eyes On was a pretty good deal. All right, let's bring DJ, Daniel Jeremiah, in this morning. Good morning, DJ. We are 8 days away from the draft. How are you? You ready?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just ready for this thing to hurry up and get here.
Yeah.
My this is what I do this time of year. So I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I go get my coffee, and I stare at my phone and go, who's gonna call me with a lie next? And that's how I start my day.
You go private jet up to Green Bay this year? They get you a private jet for that?
Yeah. Me and about 200 friends on whatever United flight I'm on.
Yeah, a private United flight, right? Yeah, it's private in its own way. All right.
Is the hay in the barn? From an analysis for you in all your work and details, hay in the barn?
So I have my top 150 comes out, I believe, Monday. So I have probably 10 to 12 more, like, just pop-up guys, like pro day guys that I'm going to speed date, between now and then. And then I've stacked probably half the positions right now. I have all my grades in, I have all my notes and everything. I've got half the positions stacked. I'll finish up stacking the rest of the positions this weekend, and then comes the merge, and it's actually one of my favorite things because now it's like, okay, now I've got to go literally who is 64 and who is 65, as I'm merging those positions together.
We've not spoken a lot with you about the edge position this year, and maybe it's partly because you look at the Seahawks, you're like, well, their edge is pretty good, right? I mean, you got 4 guys already on board between Mafe and Hall and Nwosu, and obviously they go out and
second round pick, free agent, resources, money spent.
Right, spend some money there in the offseason. So, like, they've spent a little money there and resources, but I would say that they've got all of those guys would be a wonderful second defensive end on a great defense, right? Mafe would be a great second option. Hall's a good second option at this stage. DeMarcus Lawrence probably a second option. Nwosu maybe even a third option. Like, they're good, so I don't need them looking at defensive ends in the middle rounds for depth. What about what might be there at 18? Is there a defensive end who could be available at 18 that would be an upgrade, a significant upgrade over any of the players they have right now?
No, to be honest, no. I think there's similar facsimile to the guys you just mentioned. And that's why I've kind of labeled this draft as a starters, not stars draft. I mean, you're trying to go out there and find a number 1 starter, top of the rotation guy, and this draft has got a lot of threes. Like that's just kind of what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think they can get guys you can roll through there, but I don't think you're going to be sitting there watching a game on a Sunday and go, why the heck aren't they playing this guy over that guy? I think they're going to be pretty similar to the names you just mentioned.
Can we do the 4 of them that at least have some level of first-round grade to them? Because it's a position I've not necessarily profiled in my guys leading up. Some of them I hadn't seen in person.
You're going to just leave out Abdul Carter, right? Because there's no chance.
Forget of him or Jalon. So him or Jalon are gone. So the 4 that would
there's no way to even trade up into the range to get Jalon. Is that not worth it?
I wouldn't totally punt on the Jalon thing. There are some teams that are like, I put it this way. I've talked to teams in the 20s that say, do you think he gets to us? Like, so that tells me that there are teams out there that don't view him.
Would
as
he be worth it at 18? Like, is that an upgrade?
Yeah, he's different. He's a different cat now. I mean, I did not envision that that's highly likely, but that could be one of those deals where you've got some extra ammunition. If he starts to drift in range, that would be a fun piece to add to the mix.
And he would be worthy of that?
I think so, especially in this draft. Yes, especially because when you're going to forego, you can, to move up a couple spots, you can dump a 4th-round pick. Like that's in this draft. I don't know that you're going to be, you're not going to be missing a ton there.
Okay, talk to me about him.
I did not
Walker? See Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jalon Walker he's an undersized guy who plays off the ball and on the ball. So they move him around. He wins from a lot of different entry points with how they blitz him and rush him. But off the edge, he is ultra explosive. Like he's a legit, like healthy, like low 4.4 40 type juice, like big time fastball off the edge, who jolts guys. He dominated the Texas game. Like he just kind of took the game over when they played Texas. You can spy him. You want to play against a team that's got an athletic quarterback, you can play him off the ball, spy him, and he just sucks people up, to perimeter. Arch Manning in that game tries to get us to escape, who can, Arch can really run, sucked him up easy. He's leadership intangibles at Georgia, will tell you, one of the best they've ever had from that standpoint. So how you use him and how you deploy him, yeah, that's going to be important. You have to have a plan in place. I don't think you're just lining him up on the edge every single snap and using him in that fashion, but I think he is a really, really fun chess piece in a league that's kind of trending towards a little bit of positionless amoeba type stuff to keep people guessing. This guy is a chess piece.
All right, what about the other 3 or 4? Shamar Stewart, Donovan Izaraku from BC, yep. Mike Green, and Michael Williams. That's sort of the next grouping of 4, and if I understand you right, none of them are necessarily an upgrade over what you got, but who would come closest?
Yeah, they're all, to me, like I have all those guys in the early 20s on my list. Good players, and in this draft you're going to see them go. But just different flavors. Mike Green is a polished rusher who didn't have much production before this year, but man, he took off and he's got some speed, he's got power. The level of competition is a little bit of the knock there at Marshall, but he dominated Ohio State, albeit it was on the other side away from their good tackle Simmons. So. But he went to the Senior Bowl, the famous rep of him against Josh Connerly from Oregon, where he dumped him with power. So he's got legit, pass rush skill, and he plays with some physicality.
But legit off the field issues too.
Yes, there are off the field stuff going back to when he was at Virginia, and that's teams are that definitely is a factor in with teams. I have not talked to a team that said they'd taken him off the board, but it's something that's come up in conversation when his name comes up pretty repeatedly. And again, I don't get into that stuff, but if you want to know, you can Google it and look it up, and you can find all that information. So then we get Mykel Williams, who is like a physical specimen. Both him, I would say Mykel Williams and Shamar Stewart kind of group those guys together, where the production is maybe lacking, but first off the bus, I mean, just long, rangy, explosive guys. Shamar Stewart backed it up with his testing. You know, he ran really, really well. He ran under 4.6 at 267 pounds. He's got some pressure. He just is not a good finisher. Doesn't have great instincts to be able to finish, which, you know, results in, you know, a lot of win the battle, lose the war type situations as a rusher. But he's probably the most polarizing of all these guys. Some teams love him and they buy into the explosive traits. Other teams don't think the instincts will ever come around. So he's a polarizing guy. Mykel Williams played through injury, got nicked up in the Clemson game early. Wasn't really kind of the same the whole way through. Some of his evaluation, he's dominant against the run, but some of his evaluation is a little bit of kind of buying what you hear versus what you see, because, you know, I've got buddies on that staff down there. Like, when this guy's healthy, and they've had a lot of NFL offensive linemen there, like, he's a problem. Like, he's really, really gifted. So you're kind of buying a little sight unseen. There's some faith involved with that selection, but he's got a lot in his body. And then Izaraku is a fascinating one. You guys you'll dig this because you know I'm such a Padre homer, and I can't believe we made it this long before I mourned our first home loss last night.
Sad.
But, yeah, it was tough. But I had a great conversation. I was talking with AJ Preller at the ballpark last week, and we were talking about scouting, the Padres GM. And I was thinking of Izaraku because I was talking to a defensive line coach. He has a bunch of different ways to rush the quarterback. He's got about 5, different moves that he does, and it's very effective, and he's highly productive at BC. But doesn't have elite speed, doesn't have elite power. So I said, if you're scouting, if you're looking for a pitcher, would you rather have a guy with 5 good pitches or a guy with 2 dominant pitches? And he said, you always take the guy with 2 dominant pitches. It's Randy Johnson, fastball, slider, nobody can hit him. I mean, it's Mariano Rivera. Like, you'd rather have somebody that has those dominant pitches versus being kind of spread out with his arsenal. So that's kind of the discussion there on Izaraku.
Yeah. You can always teach him more pitches. Right. I mean, like, you can't teach a guy to be strong and powerful and all that. You can teach a guy more moves. You can't teach him how to be strong and powerful. All right.
But I also think people get in it. It happens in every sport. People try and get too cute. I got to keep adding to my game. I saw Dylan Cease has been one of the best pitchers in the league with 2 pitches, and this year he's throwing change-ups and cutters, and he's getting knocked all over the place. I'm like, you're a fastball slider, dude. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's interesting. The guys you just described sound a lot like Boye Mafe, to be honest. I mean, like, it sounds like that's kind of what they have. All right, so if you go away from defensive edge here in the first round, we'll come back to the same conversation we've had 100 times, and I asked this exact question of Matt Miller last week. I'll ask it of you. If you get to 18 and Banks, Zabel, and Booker are all on the board, what do you do?
Banks, Zabel, and Booker. I'm taking either Booker or Zabel. I don't know that there's a wrong answer there. It's just, what do you want? And I fully realize I think Banks when it's all said and done is going to end up going ahead of the other two. Like, if you're going to ask what's the order they're going to go, I'm just telling you how I would do it. But to me, it's just, I'm literally asking my offensive coordinator, my offensive line coach, do you prefer firm, powerful and firm inside, or do you want somebody that's a little more flexible and someone that can get out in space and move? And that's literally just going to be I would say that, look, you're making this selection. I'm fine with either guy. They're intangibles off the charts. I think they're both going to be really good players. What would you prefer between those two options?
DJ, I for some reason love Kelvin Banks. Saw him 3-4 times at Texas. I love that he just turned 21. I love that he's been an All-American, the Outland Lombardi Award winner. I love that he's 6'5" and an 315 with 33.5-inch arms. I love that he could play tackle, slide in and play guard. He's played the best competition. I know a little nicked up with an ankle this year, but tell me why Banks, because Matt Miller, he had him, I think, what did he say, is number 8?
Said number 8. Prospect? He said if given that chance, he would run to the podium to select Banks.
What am I missing?
I think. Look, I would say I'm more in the minority than in the majority on that one. I've talked to teams that see it the exact same way you just described it. I did not see any effort or strain to finish, and that's like just my kind of North Star when it comes to offensive linemen. And when I see kind of a comfortability and an ease to finish plays, that's always been a major issue for me. So
what does that mean?
My
exactly?
hang up. So like think about this. The way I would describe it is, do you play with a shot clock? Like I want to block somebody through the play, to the whistle, sometimes through the whistle. I want to finish guys. I don't want to just absorb them and go like, okay, I think the ball's gone. I think the ball's gone. We're good. Or I'm blocking a guy in the run game. And it's like, I think I've got enough. Like there's just not that effort and willingness. And the strain is the best word. It's like, I'm going to go out of my way to strain to finish this rep. That's just been my North Star with offensive linemen.
That teachable?
I think it's more innate personally. I've seen guys add a little bit of that, but I think a lot of that's more just kind of how you're wired.
That's your Ravens background right there, DJ.
Sure
that's your Ozzie Newsome Ravens wiring.
I'll sacrifice a little bit of the foot quickness and stuff like that for that trait.
Okay, so we've had a lot of quarterbacks through. Shuck came through, Milroe came through. Those guys also, I think, went through L.A. and other places. Give me the dream scenario by round. Like if you could add to this QB room, in a dream scenario for the Seattle Seahawks, which player, which round at the quarterback position?
Okay, so I'm trying to do it legitimately by guys who have a snowball's chance of being there with these picks.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at it, if I was Seattle, I mean, I would love and I don't think he would get there. But, like, I'm not a Milroe guy, but to me, like, you're picking 50-52. If he's there, like, it's kind of a fun lottery ticket to punch. You know, you almost feel like you got a free pick there because you got those back-to-back picks. That would be one. To me, I'll say of all the options, looking at all their picks up to, the third round, I would actually say the last pick, third round, 92nd pick, I would take the Ohio State kid with that pick. I'd rather take him with that least resource than to use a more valuable resource on some of the other guys. And that's assuming like Jackson Dart's not going to be there at 50. So just take that off the table.
Yeah. Shucks.
He must have seen that same tweet that you showed me, Brock, where he's just sort of giving the ball to the other team. Here, you take it. Hot potato.
There's also like the other thing.
Hot potato.
The other tape that circulated the other day on him was the combine, which was just kind of bizarre, where he was just trying to do too much. Like he was trying to like pretend like he was looking guys off and then just misfiring. Like just take your drop and throw the ball. This isn't rocket science, dude.
Hey, I shot you this tweet last night from Ian Rappaport, and I'm just kind of curious where you go with this. Jaguars' young GM, James Gladstone, confirms that his team, like the Rams, do not do top 30 visits for draft prospects. L.A., where Gladstone came from under GM Les Snead, hasn't done workouts, top 30 visits or school visits in years, and they have thrived in the draft. What do you make of this?
My ears perked up when I heard about this probably a month ago, and because somebody had told me the Jags are going to not bring in guys for 30 visits. But then I've kind of done some more research on that, and I would love for Reporter to actually take this to the next level and actually really dig into it. But I was told, look, they send somebody out into they have a guy that they trust, and I'm not saying it's not like a private investigator, but almost like a veteran scoutish type person that they shrink their board, the Rams I'm talking about, where they only have like 60 or 70 guys, very similar to the way the Patriots would do it, who they feel like they're really good fits like as players, and then they send this guy out to like their hometown, and he's meeting with high school coaches and doing background and meeting with the family. It almost feels like a baseball, approach. And they get all their information and get to know the kid through that means and through that process. And it stays under the radar. You don't have guys show up on lists that you've worked them out or taken them in. But this whole thing that like they just watch, they watch the fall and go on vacation and show up and draft guys. Like I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they are doing more work that others aren't aware of.
I think it was Gladwell that wrote the book on some kind of bias that comes with some of those meetings that maybe not everybody in the building has, but all of a sudden if you bring assistants or coaches or others, and then all of a sudden they get this bias or they get this voice or they get this feel, can some of that to remove, to just send, as you said, this pro who cuts through some of that versus maybe some bias that can be created in the building?
Well, I worked with Phil Savage, who kind of set up the Baltimore scouting world there. And he used to use the phrase, the fog of confusion. The spring is always the fog of confusion. Like, everything's crystal clear when the season ends, and then from the end of the season to the draft, there's just a fog, of all the information, and but he did this, and it was at this All-Star game, and then, but he always felt like if we could kind of anchor yourself off of the fall and then not stray too far off of that, you're going to make better decisions. So I think there's probably some of that to it. And I think, look, some guys come in and they can charm you, and you end up, they're salesmen, and in some ways they kind of sell themselves to you, and then you're like, what the heck how did I just ignore everything that I just watched, for the last 3 years? So I think it's working. The Rams have drafted as well as anybody. So what they're doing is working, and if Jacksonville all of a sudden turns it around, I mean, shoot, that's that's a lot of airline miles for the rest of us.
Brock and I have been hosting this show for 16 years, and during that time, I think we've predicted a grand total of 0 Seahawks first picks. None. Really? I mean, I guess if you go all the way back, I mean, like when they took Okung at number 6 would probably be the closest, and then Earl Thomas. I know we'd had some conversations about him, but the number of Bruce Irvins, James Carpenters, Jermaine Ifedis, even Devin Witherspoon, like the number of have drastically.
I feel like I talked to you guys about Witherspoon last year, though.
No, because we didn't talk to you.
We didn't have you.
We didn't have you. No, you're somewhere else.
DJ.
It wasn't even us.
I'm sorry.
The name had come up, but we were like, they're not going to draft a cornerback.
I had definitely
obviously
mentioned him somewhere in the region. I'm
sure no one was listening. That's the problem. Anyway, so here's the question. Give me a totally off the board name that John Schneider is actually going to draft at number 18, because there's no way it's Zabel. There's no way it's Banks. There's no way it's Booker. There's no way it's Shamar. It's none of these guys. It's got to be somebody we've not mentioned. That is the pattern. Who will John Schneider actually draft at number 18?
How about Will Johnson?
Is that a corner?
Oh, boy.
It's a Michigan corner.
Salk said if T-Mac gets drafted, Salk is working on the NBC affiliate live on television at the time. He said his head, like Ichabod Crane, will fall off of his
said that people are going to be picking up little pieces of skull and brain like in Pulp Fiction. Like, you're the guy on brain detail. That's
for a receiver.
Yeah.
That's
I shot
for
Marvin in the face.
That's for the great stem routes, the golden runs, and the athleticism
Oh, my God,
of
the stem
T-Mac.
routes. Todd McShay. He leverages his stem. Dude, I don't care how well he leverages his stem. Don't draft a wide receiver at 18.
So we go.
Take your stem somewhere else.
Yeah. How about All-American Will Johnson?
Will Johnson,
cornerback out of Michigan, in on a visit.
Who was
How
that?
about that?
Yeah, he's someone who was predicted to be like a top, 10. Some had as like a top 5 pick in this draft. Coming into the year, didn't play as well. Got hurt. Then there's a big the knock on him when I watch him. Like, he's my 14th player. He'll probably maybe drop a spot or two. But good year, national championship year. From off coverage, he plays downhill. He sees it. He's got excellent instincts. At USC this year had pick 6. He just kind of he's got really, really good vision and ball skills, and he's a big corner. The question was, can he really, really run? That was my concern. Well, they said, his pro day, he couldn't run his pro day. They pushed it back to the middle of April. I'm like, I know the pushback, that pro day attempt. When guys can't run, you don't run at the pro day. Then we're going to push it back, and then magically you get to you know what? He's going to go through the positional drills. Maybe he's not feeling 100%, and then all of a sudden the draft's here, and the guy never ran a 40, which is where we are. And which is a reason why, in talking to some teams, there's a feeling that he could end up sliding a little bit. And you have, obviously, tremendous familiarity with him in the building.
Feels like if you were going to do that, what you should have done was take Mikey St. Marcel last year somewhere, because he's really good.
Salk loves to do this, DJ. He loves, to play the day after with St. Marcel.
Well, that's why I get out of here. That's not true. I like St. Marcel. I saw him play one time.
One time.
I saw him play in the national championship game. I said, draft that guy. That guy's going to be good. And guess what? He is.
That's true.
What is Salk has put a little twist on that famous phrase, right? Which is that's why the rear view mirror is bigger than the windshield. Is that he just
No, I
flips
don't
it
do
around
that.
a
No,
little
I
bit?
honestly don't. That's not my thing because I don't watch much college football. I don't pretend to. I honestly don't know that much about these guys. That's why I love talking to you.
No,
and
that's
Brock
true. I'll, you know what? I'll retract that, Your Honor. You do. You make a spot judgment.
Yes.
You watch one game.
He's a blink scout. It's blink
Yes.
scouting.
I watched Bo
That's
Nix
called
play
blink
twice, and
scouting?
as far as I was concerned, no chance.
Talk to me about a blink scout.
Yes.
Blink scouting. We always talk about that. Like all my buddies around
Can't
the
do
league,
it.
he'll go, hey, like he'll be an underclassman, right? It'd be like, hey, I was watching Ohio State and blah blah blah, and I saw Cardell Lake 17. Blink scouting. I mean, he's a 67. He's a top 15 pick.
Carnell
Blink
Lake?
Scouting. Yeah, I mean, it's not Carnell. That's a safety. But what's that guy? Tate? Is it Tate? Well, I don't even know his name.
Tate. Yeah.
Tate. Yeah.
I definitely have done this over the years for sure.
Yeah,
but it's
you
led
flip-
me.
like-
It's
like, I
led me
haven't-
to Alex Collins. It's led me to Rashad Penny.
Okay, sure.
It's led me to JJ McCarthy. It's led me, unfortunately, what was the guy at Clemson?
Taj
Boyd. That one didn't work out as well. That was not the greatest snap judgment. That one didn't work out as well as maybe you'd hope. But
I saw Taj Boyd when he was younger, and I was at a Clemson game. I don't remember who I was scouting, but he was so fun to watch that I brought my young son a Taj Boyd Clemson jersey and brought it home.
I was
Didn't
pretty
age- didn't
convinced.
age great.
Well, because
Didn't
he
age
was
great.
throwing a Sammy Watkins, right?
Sammy that's where I was probably
and
there.
all those guys.
I think I saw him play Georgia with Gurley and all those guys.
my
and it was
God.
such an. It was
Hey,
awesome.
last
Taj
quick
Boyd
thing,
was
last
really
minute
good.
here. How much of the
Yes,
next
sir.
6, 7, 8 days is spent by teams taking players off the board? That we will get there on draft night. You will be there. You'll be as plugged in more than anybody watching. But how many guys that we've talked about come off of the board because of injury, off the field stuff that we're just not going to go there?
So I talked to a team last night and went through medical, and I took 5 corners off the board, 2 safeties, 3 DTs. I mean, that's just an example. So I mean, that's not going to be universal with every. That gives you an idea of what's going on right now.
Great stuff, DJ. We got you next week one more time. Is that right? One more time right before the draft, day before?
When do you fly in?
I fly in Sunday. So
so we're talking to you from
what? You
from
need to
Green Bay.
get on the grounds 5 days early?
yeah,
Get a fish fry?
Let's get a feel for the sense of this thing.
Little Appleton
Do you know the
fish fry.
fanfare if I were to fly in? The best is I got it. I have a full schedule with media stuff, but I had somebody reach out to me and they said, "I'm sure you have a bunch of paid marketing deals this week, but we'd love to have you on." And I was like, "Wait, hold on, there's paid marketing deals?"
I want one of those. Start with NetJets so I can be there flying in the private jet. All right, DJ, we'll talk to you on Wednesday from Appleton, from Green Bay. Thank you so much. That's Daniel
See you, boys.
Jeremiah joins us every Wednesday here, leading up to the draft and after it as well at 8:30 on Wednesdays. There's a lot in there,
Fog
Brock.
of confusion. Now I'm in a fog of confusion.
I know. I was all set. I was ready to
Kelvin
go,
Banks,
and then he ditched
fog
all the
of confusion.
DNs, and then the Kelvin Banks thing. We'll come back to it at 9:30, Brock. Up next, we're doing something we've never done before. This was your idea.
Taking a risk.
I think it'll work. And then
Taking
I got to
a risk.
follow up with Lyle on the question that our boss asked us last night.
Oh, yeah,
I threw it out to
that too.
Lyle at 6 a.m., so he's now had 3 hours to come up with a couple of shows that would be good for people in their men in their 20s. Hopefully, Lyle's got that additionally next. It's Brock and Salk. This should be fun. Coming up on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app as well.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay zero down, zero interest, and zero payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through June 23rd, get 400 megabit Xfinity Internet with free equipment and unlimited internet data. Plus, get one unlimited 5G mobile line included, all for $40 a month for 1 year. And ask how you can get a free 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply with paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Xfinity Internet required. Taxes, fees extra. After 1 year, rate increases to $70 per month. After 2 years, regular rates apply. Access fees vary and not guaranteed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello!
So glad DJ legitimized and gave name to my style of scouting college football, Brock. Snap scouting. Yes. I didn't realize it had a name. Or blink scouting, excuse me.
You're a blink scout.
I've been doing this all my life, but I didn't realize that blink scouting had a name.
I'm smelling a bit.
It feels pretty legitimate.
Salk the blink scout.
I can blink scout a lot of things. That's essentially what which is better is. It's just
Michael,
blink scouting.
Blink scout Salk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit.
Give me anything. I'll blink scout that sucker. Like, I could make a snap decision on anything in seconds.
Well, you got trash takes, 45 minutes. We do.
Oh, I'll make a blink scouting decision on that as well. All right.
Yep.
So Brock had this idea to roast
because it came to me yesterday as a birthday gift,
Okay.
and it was tremendous. Molly and I were driving to lunch, had a great lunch. It was one of those kind of started to laugh so hard, and she started to laugh so hard that it was like that is such a great gift. And I had no idea. And obviously, I'm behind on AI and Chat GPT and all of this stuff. So maybe some of you out there have been doing this for years. Who knows? But Salk hadn't really heard of it. Maura, I don't think had really heard of it. Lyle, had you really heard of these roasts
Well, it
on
has to be a
Chat
person
GPT?
well-known enough that they can do it.
I tried to type you in and Lyle in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Maura Dooley is some famous poet.
Yep.
Yes.
And Lyle Goldstein is some famous nuclear scientist.
Yeah.
So
It's a challenge.
didn't really
challenge
work.
for those two guys. But thankfully, we are the best known Mike Salk and Brock Hewitt on the internet. And so
True.
when you try to Chat GPT it works out. So according to Chat GPT and a fun voice service that Maura found here,
I asked it to roast you guys.
we've both been roasted.
You ready to be
I
roasted?
did 2 for each of you.
All right, what do we got?
Here's Brock's first roast.
Brock Hewitt talks like a guy who peaked in high school and reminds you of it every time he breaks down a slant route like he's drawing up D-Day strategy. Man's football analysis is so bland. It makes plain oatmeal look like Nashville hot chicken. He played backup QB in the NFL so well, clipboard manufacturers tried to sponsor him. Brock Hewitt's commentary is the audio equivalent of getting stuck in small talk with your high school gym teacher at Costco. And let's be honest, when Brock starts talking X's and O's, it's less Tony Romo predicting plays, more guy at Buffalo Wild Wings yelling at the screen like he's got money on the game, but it's really just pride.
That's good.
And it does a different one every time, so that's not even the one that you saw yesterday, right?
Oh, gosh, no.
The British
That's
accent
not the
really
one.
makes it, too. The British accent really brings it around. Wow.
Oh, that's good. That I don't think I overpromised and underdelivered.
No,
did
that
I?
was pretty good. That was pretty
All right.
good.
So
It
Michael
knew you.
is Michael Salk in there?
You're
you
ready
got a
for
Michael
Salk?
Salk?
All
I
right,
think I'm ready for Salk.
This is his first one.
Ah, Mike Salk. The guy who's got a face for radio and a voice that makes you question your life choices. You'd think with all the opinions he has, he'd at least be right once in a while. But hey, who needs facts when you've got confidence, right? If hot takes were an Olympic sport, Mike would have a gold medal, but still manage to lose the victory lap. Keep doing your thing, Mike. I mean, someone has to be the punching bag.
Oh. I mean, that's true. Someone does. Might as well be me.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. I feel like there's definitely a lot more material on Brock on the internet because I feel like yours is a little better than mine, but I'll take it.
Fire away. You got one more on
You got
each
more?
of us?
Oh, yeah, I have one more. for you. And then I also asked it to roast Aaron Rodgers, but I don't have the voice on that one. I can just read it to you.
All right, what else we got from Brock?
Okay, this is Brock.
He talks about Brock Hewitt looks like he was genetically engineered in a lab that only had half the Manning DNA and a Costco-sized vat of vanilla protein powder. Brock be calling games like he's trying to convince the ref he did his own taxes. Calm down, bro. No one's trying to audit your QB rating explanations. He talks about football like he's reading off a script for a soap opera, every play a moment of deep reflection as if it's all some philosophical revelation. Brock, buddy, relax, it's just a game, not a TED Talk.
Dude, that's funny.
Did Benetti write that one?
That one's funny.
Did
It's
you say
just
you're
a
too
game, not a
dramatic?
TED Talk. Is
Maura, you're going to
perfect.
have to send me that one if you can.
Yeah, that's pretty
And I'm going
good.
to send that to my crew. I feel like Benetti wrote that one.
That one is right on for you as a national broadcaster. That
like
one
that
could have
it said
been mean tweets.
You look like you were invented in a lab that had half Manning DNA, half Costco protein powder. It's good. Vanilla protein powder.
Yep,
Obviously, the vanilla part.
Basic. Very basic. All right, fire one more sulky away, please, for all of us.
Here we go.
Thanks,
He guy who talks sports. Mike Salk. Well, you've picked quite the character. Here goes. Mike Salk is the kind of guy who thinks he's the smartest person in the room, even when he's clearly just the loudest. The guy who talks sports like he's an expert on everything from basketball to the stock market. But the only thing he truly excels at is getting under people's skin. His voice has that unique quality of making a Monday morning feel like a Tuesday evening, and not in a good way. You know, the type of voice that sounds like it's still waking up from a nap. And let's not even get started on the way he dresses.
Oh.
Mike's wardrobe must have been sponsored by the slightly above average department store. Is there a sale on casual, but still trying way too hard to look cool?
Oh, man.
Mike, you're the kind of guy who'd sit at a poker table and accidentally fold the winning hand because you're too busy explaining the rules to the dealer. There, I said it. Smirk.
Smirk.
That one was much better. That was much meaner than the first one. Wow. That was good. I like that one. That was good. Wow.
I think I even put in there yesterday. It gets you down a rabbit trail, by the way.
I bet.
Yeah, as you can imagine.
Because you can say, make it meaner, make it this. Like,
yes.
You can really
do you want it
edit
spicier? Do you want it hotter? Do you want it
Yeah.
more savage? I think I did do a roast Mike Salk's first pitch, and they actually had that out there,
that's
too.
very unnecessary.
Oh,
That's
pretty
just not right. Well, there you go. That's a little Chat GPT roast of me and Brock. What did the Aaron Rodgers one say?
Oh gosh, it's I did a few here. So it says Aaron Rodgers is basically what happens when a midlife crisis grows a mustache, buys some crystals, and starts a podcast no one asked for.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that
This guy went from throwing Hail Marys to throwing conspiracy theories. At this point, he's one darkness retreat away from becoming a full-time wizard. You'd think with all the time he spends finding himself, he'd eventually find a decent playoff record.
Oh.
Remember when he only had one Super Bowl ring? Yeah, he still does. Tom Brady collects those things like Pokemon cards, while Rodgers is out here acting like a dude who peaked in high school but still shows up to parties telling everyone he almost had it.
Wow.
And let's not even get started on the Jets saga. Left Green Bay talking like he was Moses leading the people to the promised land, then tore his Achilles in the first game like the football god said, nah, you're good.
That's good. Those are good.
Pretty
Those
good.
are good. All right.
Lyle, did you come up with the 20-something movies, too, by the way?
We're going to get there. We're going to get there,
okay.
Brock. We've got
All
that
right.
coming up. We got to get to everything you need to know next. We've got Trash Takes coming up. We'll get back to Lyle in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. It'll be a fun final 45 minutes on Brock and Salk.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
All right, Riverside Roofing wants to give you guys some money, $1,000 off. $1,000 off a new roof replacement. It's a lot of money. Should be a pretty good incentive for anybody out there who needs to book a roof replacement right now. It's a good time to do it. We got beautiful sunny days right now. They're going post 7 p.m. sunsets, I think even 8 p.m. sunsets after yesterday. So the crews can get your roof done real quick, just in time for spring. Here's what you got to do. To claim that $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing, just book a free estimate. Go to riversideroofingllc.com, and then you're going to meet with Brandon. He's Don's son. Tell him you heard it from me. Tell him you heard it on the radio station, and they'll give you $1,000 off. That's it, back in your pocket, and a brand new roof over your head as well. Then ask Brandon about the 35 years of local experience, being GAF Master Elite certified, and of course, ask about the catch-all system. It's pretty cool. It'll keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles or anything like that. Again, you can start this process. Go to riversideroofingllc.com to save $1,000 on your roof project with the roofing company you can trust.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. so they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates, and Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily. 4 Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
My teacher is the best because she gives us pajama day.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Goodbye, winter mud. Hello, Dream Yard. Spring is here. Synthetic Turf Northwest has you covered. No more soggy lawns or weekend yard work. Just green, clean, and ready for backyard barbecues, wiffle ball, or kicking back. Synthetic Turf Northwest, the area leader in synthetic grass, residential and commercial installs, plus turf supplies out of our Woodinville warehouse, and soon in Fife, right off I-5. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com today.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Rough one yesterday for the Mariners as they start off the road trip. Kind of a worst-case scenario where Luis Castillo doesn't get deep enough into the game. You got to use a whole bunch of your bullpen, and you kind of get your doors blown off 8-4. Luis gave up 6 runs, big home run by Austin Hayes for 3. That came in the 5th inning, and they weren't able to overcome that. Dylan Moore, most of the offense attributed to him yesterday, led off the game with a home run, hit another one.
Here's Dylan Moore having a great night. The pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball deep to left field. Dylan having a greater night. Goodbye baseball, his 2nd home run of the ball game. Dylan Moore with a leadoff home run in the 1st. On Nick Lodolo's 2nd pitch of the game. He had an RBI single in the 2nd. And now Dylan with another home run with JP aboard. And Dylan with 4 runs batted in tonight. And the Mariners lead the Reds 4-2. It is the night of nights for Dylan Moore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the lead evaporated, and so did Dylan Moore's night as a righty came in. I got this text, 425. Demo warming up. Dude gets put in the leadoff. Bam, performs like an all-star. This 2 years in a row. Was it being the leadoff hitter, or was it getting to face a lefty?
Yeah.
Because, again, get Demo on the road and get him against left-handed pitching, and he is tremendous. Get Demo at home, or have him facing right-handed pitching, and it is a very different ball game. And
how good a night did Demo have, though, Salk? 3 for 5, 4 RBIs. The rest of the lineup, 3 for 26, no RBIs.
Yeah, they struggle against left-handed pitching. That is, I think, a bit of an issue for this lineup. But one of those hits and the one of those runs did come from Ben Williamson. He got a hit in his first major league at bat, and then went 1 for 3. But I thought actually looked pretty good on all 3 of his at bats. Dan Wilson was asked. I have that here somewhere. Maybe I don't. Here's a little of Ben Williamson on what he was feeling heading up to the plate.
Yeah, I mean, my arms were numb at the top step, but I got in the all-deck circle and kind of just started focusing on my breathing and locked back in, just realized it was the same game I was playing all the way up through.
Legitimately, you would not have heard that 30 years ago. Right, I knew how to focus on my breathing. Like, I was nervous. Right. I focused on my, guys didn't really know what to do. You just had to figure it out.
They had popped so many greenies, they weren't thinking anything 30 years ago.
But they didn't know what to, like, I do think that's an interesting quick look into the modern baseball player versus the previous generation that was like, hey, you're terrified? Well, good luck.
Yep, you don't have it. You can't cut it. You're mentally weak. You'll suck.
This kid just has at least, the knowledge and a skill set of what do
you think if he went up to Lou in the late 90s? Yeah. Lou, can't feel my arms.
Yeah.
Sit down, kids. Send you back to Tacoma.
We're going to go with somebody else. Enjoy the journey back to Tacoma. Bryce Miller be on the hill today.
No. Actually, Lou would say,
Martinez.
hey, kid, just breathe and visualize. Breathe and visualize.
Just remember to control your breathing.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Worked for them, though. 3 pretty good at bats. Seahawks busy. They're meeting with draft targets. Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, both in this past week. Yeah, I still don't think they're taking a quarterback, certainly at 18. Second or third round, maybe it gets a little more interesting. And I thought DJ mentioning the kid from Ohio State was Will Howard. Yeah, maybe we could talk through that a little bit more tomorrow. Chad Reuter was on yesterday with Bump and Stacy, and he's still staying with this whole wide receiver deal.
I have a 7-round mock draft coming out on Friday. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is having Tedera McMillan out of Arizona going to Seattle at 18, just to give the team a little bit, sign some size, but I think a guy like that can really fit in and take over what DK Metcalf meant to the team, both in the short, intermediate, and deep game. So I think that's one. A couple of options for them. Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State would be another option.
Actually, no. Oh, he's got some size? I'd like a guy with like an extra 150 pounds of size who could play guard or D-tackle.
I think DJ is the only one that's really with us, right?
Yes.
Of all the different folks that do this, DJ is really the only one with us that Golden and T-Mac are not a fit in.
You know who else was with us? Bob Condotta, who did a mock draft yesterday and didn't have them taking a wide receiver in the first 5 picks, meaning their first 3 rounds.
Even when I make fun of his 8-inch vertical,
that's not nice.
And his 4-foot broad jump, and his 7.2 40. Even though I make fun of it,
it was the broad that was really problematic. It was Bob's broad jump. There really was. I mean, I don't want to make Bob is awesome, and I've been raving about his mock draft, and he's obviously not a broad jumper, but I think you could probably step farther than he broad jumped.
That might have been the most unathletic display of humanity I've ever seen.
Now
with
you're
my
just
own
being
eyes.
rude. That's just plain rude. What's the matter with you?
Here's the third thing you need to know.
You're trying to be like ChatGPT now. You think you can be
And
just
I've
as good
seen
as
it.
them.
Trust me, I've
That's
seen
rude.
Unathletic.
Straight rude.
I saw Salk's first round at Suncadia.
right.
I've seen Unathletic.
You never played golf before. What's the matter with you? Kraken lose their final game of the season, so they will be either 5th or 6th in the NHL draft lottery when that comes around. Jaden Schwartz wins the award for perseverance, hustle, and dedication. He also led the team with 26 goals. Brandon Montour, the fan favorite. Joey Decord, the Pete Muldoon Award for the team MVP. Jared McCann tops in assists and points. 19 goals for Shane Wright, 20 for Matty Beniers, but ultimately just not enough. And because of all of that, they are going to, according to Todd Lewicki, who made this announcement, they're going to cut some prices next year on 90% of the tickets are going to go down in price. There's going to be some rewards for season ticket holders, including some breaks off concessions, which are pretty pricey. And he also confirmed that Ron Francis is going to be back for another year at GM.
He's going to be back. All right.
I will admit, a little surprising. God, this year
It's
was
everything
disappointing.
everything
It really
you need to know.
was.
Can I ask a mean question since I'm on this little mean streak?
About the Kraken?
Yeah, can I kind of ask a mean question?
Yeah.
It kind of circles back to Shedeur Sanders, and it kind of comes full circle in my own life. The most embarrassing moment athletically, well, I've had many. Pooping my shorts was the most unathletic in a workout after the Sun Bowl with Montezuma's revenge. That was by far the most unathletic. But on like a legitimate on the field, in a locker room, team dynamics, the worst one, truly one of the worst moments was winning like co-MVP of the Hula Bowl my senior year when we lost to Air Force. And I had to go out on the field and get a trophy. And I'm like, we sucked. I threw a pick. Like, no. Like, this is dumb, and we lost. Should you have, like, awards when you're the 5th worst team in hockey?
Yeah, absolutely.
You still should? Okay.
Yes, you should absolutely.
Because there were positive performances amidst the team
and
struggles.
you should be connecting your players with the fans, which is really what that's all about. You should be setting up a culture for the future when you do have better teams.
Because, like, in the NFL,
Absolutely.
you have these team goals, right? And every week you have these, most of these teams do this and have it on a big board.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you lose, nobody gets an award. There's no recognition.
Well, I mean, again, you don't come out and get the #1 star on a night where you lose, but at the end of a season, I think it's appropriate to celebrate things that did go well.
Again, I was asking. I felt like that was a little mean.
I mean, I mentioned this before. Growing up, all the teams in Boston did whether it was the 12th man, the 7th man, 6th man, like they always had a 10th player award. They always had something to all 4 teams to appreciate the player that exceeded expectations the most. Yep. And it doesn't matter whether you have a good year or bad year. Like, you do it every year. You gotta establish that, and this is who it is. This is the person who still gets some recognition. And I got no problems with awards for a team that was 5th worst in the league this year. Okay, Lyle, do you have an answer? Our boss she mistakenly asked Brock a question that there was no way either of us could really answer, and so we're punting it to you. We expect answers next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Geno Smith signing a 2-year, $85.5 million extension with the Raiders.
Good for him, man. He took advantage of a great situation.
Would you have paid Geno that much?
Yeah, my number was around 40. Listen, you got younger, you got cheaper with Sam Darnold. The thing that you don't know is if he's going to be able to repeat that performance that he had last year.
If someone were to say Sam Darnold is going to give you Geno production at way less money, great.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, you frustrated out there? Frustrated with some finances that you can't really control? Frustrated with your insurance, which you think you can't control either? You just assume. Do what Molly and I did, and so many of my family and friends have done. Friends in the business, in the office I'm sitting in today. In fact, they all did what we did. Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. We had heard so many of these First Mark Challenge victories that saved people so much money. Molly and I decided we need to do this. And my mom decided she needed to do this. And friends decided they needed to do this. And boy, am I glad we all did. Because here's how First Mark goes to work for you. They fully analyze your current insurance coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, unlike all of us, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers that they have worked with to find you the best fit. That's it. No stress, no confusion. Did I mention? It's totally free as well. First Mark's your teammate, and they spent the last 30 years building connective tissue, helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer. Go take the First Mark Challenge, totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. It's all right there. Firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is The Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk
Weekdays 6 to 10.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
509. Watch Salk have to interview Tedero McMillan after the Seahawks draft him. He'll be like, I was always hoping they would draft you. I love how you can hold your stem and the way you run. A wide receiver with speed.
No, that was golden. That was golden with leveraging.
Yeah, this guy
stem.
can't hold it. He can't leverage his stem.
No, this guy jumps out of the gym, Saul.
Couldn't be more proud of John for making this mistake. I mean, pick. Yeah. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't go down that way. Yeah, I'll be on TV. It's kind of fun. I'm going to be on King 5, Brock, so I'll be down there for the night of the draft.
You going to dress like a cheap department store?
I'm sort of hoping that Paul will offer me like a King 5 polo or something I can wear. I don't know. I was sort of hoping to work that into the deal. I mean, we haven't agreed to terms yet, but I was sort of hoping I could get maybe, a King 5 polo with a signature yellow or something like that. Like,
the yellow jacket.
Nice.
Oh, the yellow jacket.
I don't know if I need a whole jacket.
You want a yellow jacket?
No,
something needs a yellow jacket.
No, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. But, maybe a polo that had a little signature yellow in it. That would be, make me feel like I was part of the team.
Yellow looks good on you on television?
No, more just like just a little, like your sweatshirt.
Oh, okay.
Like a different colored polo, a blue or black or whatever. But just
like the yellow on the Masters flag on my hat today.
Just a little.
How did you not even comment on the hat today?
It's a nice hat.
You didn't even comment on the hat.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm sorry. Please stop talking like that. All right. So yesterday, our boss Kathy sent Brock and me a message on text saying that she needed some help coming up with a Netflix or streaming shows that would be good for 20-something-year-old guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, here's some, but like, I don't feel like I'm really. She's like, well, I'm not in the demo. I'm female, etc. And I was like, well, Brock's 49. He's a year away from being 50. So I don't know how Brock is possibly a great barometer for what kids in their 20s are enjoying these days. So we thought we would kick this over to our 20-something Lyle.
Mm-hmm.
So Lyle, you've had 3.5 hours. I know you don't like being put on the spot. So you've had 3.5 hours to come up with a couple recommendations for us to give to Kathy for shows, etc. Something that would be entertaining to some guys in their 20s.
And not to add any pressure, Lyle, this is probably the biggest step you've had to take in your career here.
That's
in the
right.
building. This is Boss Lady, and
wanna
she
get
really,
ahead.
yes. Like you give the wrong recommendation, they're going to be like, what a dope.
Yeah, you
Where'd
probably won't
get
be
that?
working here much longer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, this is how you get on Kathy's good
I
side.
hope your arms aren't numb, but go ahead.
What do you got?
Well, I said Squid Game earlier. I'll stand by that one.
Okay.
Really good.
So that's the deal. It's the Korean show, right? About they're playing like normal games, but if you lose, you die.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the record,
Sounds fun.
I mean, it's like, what is it? The highest grossing Netflix show in the history of Netflix, I think.
It does look good. I should watch that. Wife and kids are out of town this week. Maybe I'll start that.
It's
Summer of Salk already?
Yeah, just a quick one.
Spring of Salk, Summer of Salk, Fall of Salk. Sheesh.
Is this the Squid Games theme?
It is.
Scary.
But
Is this a show or a movie?
It's a show.
Is it done like a true like a true drama, or is it done like it's supposed to be real, like it's a
Hunger Games?
like it's a reality show, but it's not?
No, it's not supposed to be like Hunger Games where it's on TV.
Okay.
Actually, a big part of the premise of the show is nobody out there in the general world seems to know this thing exists.
Okay.
Like it's out on a big island, and you're taken out to an island across the water.
But they don't film it as if it's not a mock reality show. It's a real show where they're participating in a reality show.
Correct.
Okay. Good. Okay.
And
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
into
with
that.
subtitles, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Or
no, I
is
watched
it dubbed over?
I watched the dubbing.
Oh,
in
no,
English.
you have
we're
the
not
option.
doing that. No, not doing.
Why
it.
not?
I don't like dubbing. I like subtitles.
I can't watch a whole show in another.
I know
language.
reading's hard when you're your age. I get it. It's
20-something Salk, 20-something.
I get it.
in another
Not
language.
elite.
I'm not
It's
asking you to do it that way. I'm saying I choose to watch with
Well,
subtitles.
I'm saying for these 20-year-olds, they probably want it dubbed.
They can do it either way.
Jeez.
All right. So that's number one, Squid Game.
This isn't exactly a TV show, but I'm going to call it close enough. Is anything Mr. Beast related? All of his YouTube videos.
Okay. Yeah.
Because all of his YouTube videos are 20, 25 minutes long. They're essentially all TV shows. And they're all, I mean, there's a reason he's the biggest YouTuber on the planet by a very, very, very wide margin. Is because all his stuff is so over the top, well done that draws people in.
Have you watched one of them yet, Salk?
I've seen
Mr. Beast?
I've seen it. I wouldn't say I've watched one of them. That would be an exaggeration.
Like he'll do things, for an example of like going from everywhere from a $1 private island, which is basically like a wooden log, to a $10 million private island, which he rents out, and he takes people through all the differences. And he's got a whole camera crew, and he's got all these people that go with him, and he does things like that constantly, along with, he does trivia, or not trivia, but like games with contestants where you play for a certain amount of money and you have to go all through like these all different tough challenges and stuff. It's super well put together.
I feel like these are two good choices for Kathy. So Squid Game and Mr. Beast YouTube videos. You got one last one?
Maybe it appeals to a certain target audience, but I'd say Mandalorian. That was like one of the biggest shows, I guess, over COVID. And honestly, I don't even know if you have to be a Star Wars fan to like this or not.
I watched some of that. I think you do.
I don't know.
I think that's for you.
It's pretty good.
I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I did not like it.
Let's just stick with the first
Mandalorian
two.
is really good.
Uh-huh.
Really
I'm a little surprised that those are the only directions I would have thought that you were going to go here.
What up, Primals? Liver King here, saying why should you be mean if you can eat spleen? Because spleen is going to help you look, feel, and function much nicer. Because our early ancestors
Liver King had a
ate nose to
I was
tail.
going to say, in shocking fashion, Salk, he was not all natural.
No?
Primals want to know, why does Liver King wear a cap all the time? I'll tell you why. Because my cap is my crown. And I see the manicured man's morning routine, the subprimal way of being.
Subprimal.
Getting out of bed,
legitimate
brushing their hair,
brushing their hair,
their teeth,
That's enough.
brushing their beard. I skip all that.
beard.
Okay, and legitimate question.
Okay.
Is this Mandalorian?
It's good, man.
No.
It's really, really good.
It's also
It
5
is.
years old. It's also
It's
5
too
years
old. All your shows are kind of old.
Come on, Lyle.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Something
fine.
new.
Yep, that's fine. I got a
I
legitimate.
think she was looking for new stuff.
Can I ask you a legitimate
I
question?
mean,
Salk?
Mandalorian has new seasons coming out.
Okay.
What up, Primals?
Can I ask you a legitimate question?
Yes.
If this investment of mine, high risk, if it hits, and I have some disposable income, what would I legitimately have to pay you? And I'm being legitimate here. What would be a legitimate number for you to do 6 months of steroids, grow out your beard, eat cow testicles, and be like the Seattle Liver King and get just totally jacked, like get totally yoked and ripped?
I know.
And put on 40 pounds of muscle, and like obviously there'd be some negative health consequences. Your liver and your kidneys and your stuff and your heart would have to pay for the anabolic steroid use. But what would I legitimately have to pay you to do that, to totally transform yourself?
I would think more than your potential investment could.
Give me a number. Give me a number.
The hard thing is then you say, like, look, you'd be like, all right, 100 million. And then you're like, well, you wouldn't do it for 50 million? Well, you wouldn't do it for 20. So, like, once you say a number like that, you start cutting it in half, you start realizing it.
Okay.
I think it's actually probably about 50 million.
About $50 million.
Yeah, I think it's about $50 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could retire and just go 6 months and just become a roid head.
Let me see.
Okay.
So for 50 million, what does that kick off a year roughly in terms of,
3 or 4% a
Okay,
year.
so yeah, let's say it kicks off, let's even call it 3%. So that means every year
3 mil.
living off 1.5.
Okay.
I think I could do that. I could live off 1.5 million, I think.
Plus have the 50. Okay.
Plus having the 50 in the bank.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to
I
know.
could do that.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah. For 50 mil, Brock, if that works out,
Okay.
please
All right.
come my way and I'll liver
All right.
king
I
myself.
got sound of that. Good.
Hopefully I won't be in the fog of spring as Daniel Jeremiah. Brock, he put us in the spin cycle today.
Yeah, he did.
You and I were really getting close to making, like, hey, we're coming down the pike
You
here.
were ready to. Like, you had 2 spicy, Carlos Spicy Wiener hot takes on our email last night.
I did,
You were
right?
ready
Yeah.
to make a declaration
If
today.
DJ had just said, yeah, one of these, any of the, although I will say, he did kind of come a little
Jalon
bit.
Walker,
The Jalon
yeah.
Walker thing was interesting.
We'll see.
If he had said something like, hey, look, this Mike Green dude, or this Michael Williams, or something like Samar Stewart, one of those guys, he's a dude. And if you can get him there, like, there's a chance he turns into, I think I would have been there. But when I hear that they're basically just Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, not that those are bad things. Just you don't need that. You've got Derek Hall, you've got Boye Mafe. You don't need another one of those. You need a
You got 4
significant
starters.
upgrade.
You got four. What you were shooting for was a star.
Yeah.
And you got 4 starters already, and these guys are in that same ilk.
Yeah, and unfortunately.
So there goes your declaration.
To be honest, no. I think there's similar facsimile to the guys you just mentioned.
So that's kind of a bummer when DJ
okay.
said that.
Uh-huh.
And then Brock, he
Kelvin
did
Banks.
say, well, before you get to Kelvin Banks, he did say that if what's his name? Jalon Walker slides a little bit, could you trade up, give up a 4th rounder, move up 4 or 5 spots?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to that idea. Little undersized thing was not necessarily what I was hoping to hear, but
he's freak show fastball, man.
Okay, like Brock, that would work for me.
Yep.
Jalon Walker is going to be kind of here as something that I would like to see them do.
Okay.
But then we're like, okay, cool. So they're probably go offensive line, fine, no problem. And it really felt you were really zeroing in
I was
on
spitting
Kelvin
into my
Banks.
microphone today.
I
Spitting
know.
For the first time in my profile.
You basically said straight out the Seahawks should draft Kelvin Banks at 18.
Yep, I did.
Matt Miller said they should run to the podium to do it. And then DJ was like, I would definitely draft either of those other 2 guys ahead of Kelvin Banks.
Yeah, Gray Zabel or Tyler Booker, which will be profiled here in the next 5 days or 6 days or so if you're waiting on that. And his point, I get it, man. You know, you are a product in our lives. You are a product of where you come from. You know, you take the boy out of Puyallup, but there's some aspects 26 years later in marriage, Molly will tell you, you will never take the Puyallup out of the boy. So it's, you know, and for DJ, he grew up, he cut his teeth in Baltimore. Physical, finish, strain, big people. And when it came to Kelvin Banks, he just did not see as much of that finish to his game as he saw certainly out of a Tyler Booker and then the upside athleticism of a Gray Zabel. That will be some of the great debate, some of the fog of confusion that as I walk the streets late tonight in the early hours of trying to put my head around who I'm going to draft and where I'm going to draft and everything else. That is some of the confusion that can come about in these final days.
That was not the thing you wanted to hear, especially if you're going to move him to guard, right? I mean, isn't the one thing you want to hear about a guard that he wants to finish?
So
I mean, like, that's what guards do.
If I was spitting today, man, put on Tyler Booker's highlight tape, the left guard of Alabama. Put on his tape. And you know what it's not reminiscent of? It's not reminiscent even of Charles Cross, who's a great athlete and a great player and been very good for you. It's not reminiscent in any degree of Jermaine Ifedi or Anthony Bradford. It is nasty. It's 350 pounds.
Well, I guess.
And I will flat back you. And I aim to finish you.
Don't we need
I think there was a line of Booker that will play it maybe tomorrow.
Well, but don't we need to take Daniel Jeremiah seriously when he says that? Because he's the guy from the Baltimore system?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, as much as I would like to be right there and say, okay, well, Banks was the guy and Matt Miller said that. But, like, I got to take DJ extra seriously on this because he's the guy from the Baltimore system.
Sure is.
Well, we're back in the fog.
And
So
then we got Will Johnson now, the corner.
Well,
top 10 corner.
I'd vomit. Let's not get too caught up in that. That was the off the board pick. Let's not get too caught up.
We'll
in
hit
it.
on that in Blue 88.
All right. Well, we
tomorrow.
know what we've got to do tomorrow. We got to address this in a little bit more depth about the type of guard that the Seahawks need to bring in. Right now, though, it's time for trash takes.
Get it together. Don't look like trash.
Trash takes.
It's a bunch of trash.
Oh, gosh. I thought it was trash. On Brock and Salk.
That's a terrible take.
I need to wear that Trash Master hat on my head like a crown.
Okay. You know what? I'm doing it today. Going on Amazon. I got a nice $25 Amazon gift card from a friend. I'm getting that embroidered and doing it.
Really?
What,
The
what
Trash
size is your
Master?
head? You measured your head
No,
size.
I didn't.
Salk, I ask one thing of you.
I told you. Get a snapback.
Okay.
I don't want a fitted hat.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right,
Although
I won last week.
I would say the Trash Master hat also doesn't have to fit. To be perfectly honest, like once you're putting on a hat on your head that says Trash Master, I don't think it has to fit.
That's what you wanted to say, Trash Master?
I mean,
what color do you want? Brown and yellow?
Whatever works, buddy. Whatever works.
Brown color, yellow lettering, Trash Master.
Yeah, I'll wear it for
poo-poo
Paul
takes.
Sylvia's show for the draft. All right, so
You need to get the old school airbrushing.
Oh, you think so? Maybe you could help Brock with this. He might need help with the Trash Master hat. All right, so who's the reigning champion this week?
I am. I'll go first.
All right.
You know what I hate, Salt? I hate coaches like Nick Holt that say we're young. I think that's the biggest bunch of trash. I hate when coaches bag on their players, blame their players. And I told you, one of the neat tools about the UFL, I wish all these evaluators had all the players mic'd up through the years. You could get a good beat on them. Well, I got a good beat on the Houston Roughnecks head coach, CJ, Curtis Johnson. Whew. It's been a struggle for Curtis last couple years, and maybe the sound is indicative of why. Listen to him on the sidelines in a game. By the way, this guy was cut yesterday, and just in case you want to know, just trashed one of his own players. Don't do this.
Why is he in the game? Don't you put him in again? Hey, Cam. Who put you in the game? Who put you in the game? No, you don't go in the game. No, come back. Don't you go in.
Who put you in the game? Don't you go in the game? That's just mean.
Player on your roster.
No.
There's only 45 that suit up. Not even.
Who put you in the game is pretty funny. Put you in the game? You know you're not supposed to be in the game. You know you're not supposed to actually play. What are you even doing here?
There was like an assistant coach or someone sending him in, right? So the poor kid's just like, I'm just doing what I'm told.
Yeah, but he's terrible. Can't play with him. Can't win with him. Can't do it. Such trash. All right, Lyle, what do you got this week for trash takes?
Watching foreign shows with subtitles?
Dude, for people who can read, it's definitely better than listening to dubs.
I'm not so sure.
I know that's challenging. I know that reading is it's not a big part of your life, so that's fine.
I had some friends who watched the show with subtitles, and I said, you guys are crazy. I'm not listening. I'm not sitting through a whole show like that. And they told me I was crazy. So then I asked a bunch of my other friends, like all my friends from ASU that watched.
Really?
That watched Squid Game. And I was like, did you guys watch this in English or in Korean? And they were like, you think I'm sitting and watching a whole show in another language?
I'm noticing a trend.
Well, a lot of smart people that watch in
yeah, it's maybe one way to look at it. What is your trash take?
I pulled one straight off of just some Twitter troll this week. I'm not gonna lie, because it like blew me away enough to just bring it onto the show, even though it's not from a credible media person. It's just some troll on Twitter.
Okay.
A little over 3 years ago, obviously Russell Wilson gets traded from the Seahawks to the Broncos. Yesterday, out of the blue sky, some Broncos fan takes it upon himself to quote tweet it and say, just a general reminder that the Broncos won this trade. The Seahawks didn't get better from it. The Broncos did. End of tweet. I mean, I don't even really know what to say to that.
He said this recently, or is this another old one?
No.
Oh,
He
okay.
tweeted this yesterday. He quote tweeted the old Schefter tweet out of the blue yesterday and said, Seahawks didn't get better from this. The Broncos did. We won the trade.
Who did the Seahawks take with the top pick in that?
That would be Charles Cross, followed by Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah.
They somehow got Mafe out of that whole thing.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dumb.
I don't really know what to say to that.
that's really dumb. Okay, the Twitter troll, the Broncos won.
That's just Broncos fans. If you guys
That's fair.
live there, Brock does now, you would know. That's how they operate.
Maura, sneaky good at trash takes. Maura, what did you bring to the table this week?
Well, this one, I guess, maybe could just be posturing, but I still just can't buy any of the garbage that Giants GM Joe Shane is spinning at his press conference this morning when asked if they need a quarterback.
With the signing of those two players, I think we put ourselves in a...
Oh, sorry. He's talking about the signing of Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson.
With the signing of those two players, I think we put ourselves in a position where, I don't think that's mandatory or something that we're our feet to the fire and we have to do. I think the two guys we signed have played a lot of ball. They've got a lot of skins on the wall, and I do think we've upgraded that room, compared to where it was a year ago. I like the two guys that we have, and Tommy's still in there, and he's won games for us too, and he's still developing. So we're happy with the makeup of the room right now.
Tommy DeVito's still developing, so they're good.
Yeah. In a couple of years, he's going to turn into Peyton Manning. Just wait. It's going to happen. All right. So, interesting batch for Here's the Thing this week. Going through it. All right. Lyle, good one. I liked all three. Good one, Lyle. But at the end of the day, it's a Twitter troll. Like, I can only you kind of get what you expect, right? I mean, like, yeah, you got trash from a Twitter troll. I don't know, like, duh. Like, good job. It was dumb, but I don't know how hard it is to go out and find dumb things on Twitter. Like, that's pretty easy. So I'm sorry, that one's going to come in third place today. It's really between Brock and Mora. Mora, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, as dumb as that is from Joe Shane, I think you're right. I think he's posturing. Obviously, he doesn't believe that. Nobody could. There's no way he looks at his quarterback room of Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito is like, nailed it.
Especially when his seat's hot.
Yeah, like he did not look at that and was like, oh yeah, no, we got this one in the bag.
It's still ridiculous to say.
Of course it is, but what is he supposed to say? Yeah, we stink. These guys are old. They're over the hill. They're not going to get along. They're a total mess. And yeah, I think we need to go get Shamar Stewart. Or we need to get Shedeur Sanders as soon as possible. Like, he can't say that. No. So it's a trash take, no doubt, but I just don't think he believes it, even though I'm not too impressed with him. And Brock, you're going to win this one. That was bizarre behavior. I don't know who, what's his name? Curtis Johnson is, but he's the trash taker of the week.
Thank you. Trying to design your Trash Master hat with
really?
Big poop emoji.
I don't know why poop needs to be involved in this. There's no poop. There's maybe a garbage can.
Okay, fine.
I mean, like, there's a lot of things about trash. There's nothing about poop here.
Do you want to see a picture before I buy it?
Yeah, what are you looking at?
It's going to take me a little while. I can't multitask.
But I would go with something garbage can, grouch related.
I think I'm just going
why
black,
you need to go with poop.
White lettering, Trash Master.
Okay.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes. I do like the idea of a garbage can on there. It's kind of
okay.
Maybe a dumpster.
Okay, maybe I'll find out.
Maybe a garbage truck, even.
Yep. Okay.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. I think we've done enough. I think we've done enough.
Maybe we need to come up with a little jingle that we play whenever someone wins.
Do we have any good jingle writers around?
I feel like it's more and I in the lead, and Lyle's just.
It feels like Lyle's not putting a lot of effort in.
You guys don't see eye to eye in this segment.
Well, I don't think Lyle spends any time on it. I think he just at the last second, it's like, oh, I saw something dumb on Twitter.
Yeah, it's barely awake.
Poor guy. He's been yawning all morning.
Oh no, I put effort into these. You guys
That's
just
what you
don't
came
like,
up with?
That was a terrible take.
I know, but it was from some nobody. Like it's outside the rules.
It's not outside the rules.
It's outside the spirit of the rules.
Better, Lyle.
The rules are constantly changing.
Lyle, I need you to be better. And the good news for you, Lyle, short show tomorrow with the early Mariners game.
That's right.
You'll get a lot of rest.
All right, short show tomorrow. We'll be prepared, though. Doubly prepared.
I'm going to walk around in a fog of confusion today. I feel like it.
The fog of spring. We'll be back at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Until then, you know where the hay is.
Barn.
Even in our fog of confusion, Brock.
In the barn.
It's in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What's something people may have confused about what a run-heavy offense actually means?
People think that they're just going to run the heck out of the football. We're running the ball 35, 40 times. That's not really it. I want people to think of a run-heavy offense as that's the first punch that's going to be thrown. And it's going to be thrown often. But there are days you spread them out and you just let it go because you feel like there's advantages in other places on the field.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at proscope.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's proscope.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Reds in yesterday's series opener 8-4. A tough outing for Luis Castillo. 7 hits, 6 earned runs over 4 1/3 innings. Reliever Gregory Santos gave up the game's final 2 runs. One Mariner had a good day. Dylan Moore finished with 2 homers, allowing all 4 of Seattle's runs. Around MLB, games set to start in the next 15 minutes. Braves, Blue Jays, Brewers, Tigers, Mets, Twins, and Astros, Cardinals.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. What the experts are saying about the 2025 NFL Draft and what it tells us about the Seahawks' plans.